Welcome. You are live at the Los Angeles Tribune Books Podcasts and Entertainment. Here we are. Let me bring you to the site. We are actually right now at Barnes and Nobles in the Grove, and we've got Alisha Magnus-Louis, our lead journalist and business solutions director, right here at the Barnes and Noble in the Grove, and it's a beautiful historic really iconic location for Barnes and Noble. It's the only location of Barnes and Noble in the Los Angeles city. So, Alicia, tell us. We get to unmute you. You are on the field right now with Barnes and Nobles as we have our books, podcast, and entertainment event in the Grove. How are you doing, Alicia?
Ava, we're so excited to be here. As you can hear, Michael Silvers is on the stage, and we're getting ready to kick off books, podcasts, and entertainment. We are at the Barnes and Nobles at the Grove in Los Angeles, standing here with Mandy Rose. Mandy is on our podcast network. Mandy, how does it feel to be here at Books, Podcasts, and Entertainment?
Oh my gosh, it's such an incredible opportunity to be here. There's so many amazing people here, the podcasters, the celebrities, the authors. It's a really great group here, and I'm really honored to be here today.
Yes, hello, Cheryl. We see you here joining us in the audience. Okay, we have someone else that is part of the Los Angeles Tribune community here. Lisa, how are you?
Hi, Alisha. Hi, LA Tribune fans. How are you?
So we are here at Books, Podcasts, and Entertainment. What inspired you to come today?
Well, personally, I grew up with books. One of my favorites is Dr. Seuss. Oh, the places you'll go. And I just want to wish everyone out there, today's the day. Today is your mountain. Go out there and seize that moment.
Oh, the places you'll go. I love that book too. I actually traveling recently. I sent that book. I saw it and I sent it to Ava. It is a wonderful book. We're here. We're celebrating authors. We're celebrating individuals on podcasts, and we're also celebrating those that are in entertainment. We have a star over here. Hello.
Are we ready to go?
We're rolling. We have our community here. Let's go. Everyone say hello to Robert.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. We're about to get started.
All right, fantastic. All right, so first of all, again, let's ramp it up for the audience out there. Let's give yourselves a round of applause because they can all hear that. Fantastic. I wanted to welcome everybody tonight. And, also, Karen. Can I just have quickly the, Karen? Oh, I just need the syntax because I need to. What I have a tendency of doing, and I've done this for so long, is I'll introduce somebody or I'll say thank you to somebody who was at a show for 3 years ago. Everybody got that? So we don't want to do that always. So first of all, I just wanted to thank everybody for being here, and I'm going to bring up somebody who's going to actually do an introduction for me. So everybody, give it up for ladies. Ross, give it up.
I guess the mystery's over, huh?
It is.
Can you hear me? No.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very directional.
Got it. Hi, everybody. I'm Lainey. Nice to see you. I'm here to introduce someone who's very important for today. He's the root of why we're all here. Michael Silvers is the managing partner of the LA Tribune Podcast Network. He is an international businessman and one of the most sought after ultimate performance coaches, sharing the stage with the likes of Les Brown, Tony Robbins, former President Bush, and Kiss's Gene Simmons. That's quite an array you've got there. As well as working for many of the largest companies in the world. He shares his mission to help professionals create wealth and the lifestyle they desire.
I'm getting text from the back saying you should open it.
Yes, sir. See, that's why he's managing partner of the LA Tribune Podcast Network. So he shares his mission to help professionals create the wealth and lifestyle they desire. And most importantly, he is a proud grandfather to 7 grandkids. I'm exhausted already. I would like to welcome to the stage. Please give him a welcome, a loud round of applause for Michael Silvers.
All right. right, fantastic. It's me again. So it's great to have everybody here. And I'm trying to see the frame on the, you got that one too. You're good. I like that. The other thing too is whenever you put on a show, make sure that you thank and I move around a lot, so camera people hate me, right, Mary? How many times have we done this, right? The AV teams will be like, Michael, can you stand still? So you want to thank those that are here. You also want to thank the people that are helping sort of what we call into the back of the room or put the event on. We couldn't have done this event. First of all, is Rachel here? Rachel. So we couldn't have done this event without Rachel Cave. She's the Barnes & Noble expertise at these events. She helps put them on. She puts them on for major stars, for new authors, and makes it work. So everybody, come up front. You're not here tonight, but it wasn't for you. So there's the camera right there. It's like we're ending the show almost, right? Also, I want to just give a thanks to a couple people who are here. The reason we're here, my business partner, and really I've learned everything I've known about production and speaking and training is Mary Glorfield. Please stand up. Mary Glorfield, she was talking about everybody say hi, Ava. Ava's on the camera. Ava Manuel, the editor of the Los Angeles Tribune. Give her a round of applause. And please, we want to thank, he's not here tonight, but he's the driving force. Till midnight anyway, so don't worry about it, right? We got plenty of time. They're going to keep the doors open for us. Also, Mr. Crick, Bruce has been part of my team and part of helping and everything. He's also an office people trainer around the park. Can you hold something like this in your hand? Yes, you can. Wanting to put on an event and being perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's getting the information to the audience. That's a really critical piece. So what we used to do, we used to train people all the time how to write courses, and they would spend 2 years writing a course and then sell it and nobody bought it. So what you've done, you spend 2 years of your life writing, right? How about if you do the bullet points, then get it out to a group, see if they want it, and you're moving much better. So it's not about the perfection part. It's about, am I being of service? Am I giving to somebody else? That's what counts every single time. It's an extraordinary night. We're privileged to be here. We're going to play full out, and we're going to start right away. So give that a round of applause. So the other thing, too, with introductions is I don't always have somebody's name in my hand. Maurice Bernard, I know you. And Anna, last name again, so I don't mess it up. Demergis. See that? I got that. So Anna Demergis and Maurice Bernard are going to bring that up first. I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about their background. There's two ways to do an event. Either you do the intros for every single person, but we're tight tonight. We got a lot of people came out. Everybody said yes and flew in. So we want to make, so people will do a little bit of their earn the right, tell you a little bit about themselves. It's very casual tonight. And where's the clock? There we go. Okay, we have a timekeeper. All right, so let's give Maurice Bernard and Anna Demergis a big thunderous round of applause. See, you said good job early. See, is that good? There you go. We don't mess around. Have a seat. Just in. Yeah. There you go. All right, fantastic. See, we don't have to sit too close. So we don't do the Johnny Carson thing. We're not across the table. We should do a table next time. We're going to do that. I wanted to thank you, too, for being here. Why don't you tell the audience just a little bit about yourself and your background for both of you, and then we'll move from there.
I was born in San Francisco. I'm Spanish. Get that. And I lived in there for about 8 years, and I moved to the suburbs. And then I decided to be a model, but I was was too short. I used to lie about my height. And then I got into acting, and that was my passion. I knew I was going to be an actor. But then I had a nervous breakdown. I was in a mental institution for about 2 weeks. And I escaped. Got out. And I just got into depression.
Or the iPad. Oh, I don't know where for iPad. Yeah, I couldn't find it. Oh, shoot, I don't know where it is. Okay, thank you.
She single-handedly helped.
Well, you are watching this live, and we're having an audio challenge, as you could see. So, someone that is actually scheduled on the live is not able to patch in on the audio. So, we're going to continue to try to hear them, and let's see if we can get them to get their audios also going. So, let me see.
Tell Alicia to put the mic on the speaker, maybe.
You are joining us in our live Barnes and Noble books, podcasts, and entertainment. And right now, we're just working out our audio. We have a lot of guests coming right up, and we have some exciting speakers, entertainers, celebrities that are on site, and we're making sure that their audio is patched in and is worked in. So while we're working that out, right now, what's going on the screen is an interview with Michael Silvers and with Rocio, and his wife was also the author of Orchid. The Orchid, it's such a beautiful book. They're astounding authors, and would love to be able to actually get you in on this interview and conversation if we can get the audio already working. So in the meantime, you're going to have kind of like a silent show as we figure it out.
and my stepfather. I multiple infertility treatments, and I lost multiple pregnancies. And I found that the most comforting thing was surrounding myself with really good friends, and their support and love and unconditional encouragement has brought me to sitting here with you right now. Because there were days that I felt hopeless, but your friends help restore hope, because they remind you that you are loved and special.
And I just want to add to that, what Anna did for me last week. She stayed with me for like, I mean, not with me, you know. My wife wouldn't like that. But she lives like 2 doors over, and every time that I felt alone, I needed to see somebody, I could go to her, and I would go to her so many times, and I felt like this is just too much. She would never complain. She would just always be there, and that's what I think you're talking about. So you can have friends like that, because that's a real giving person that has patience.
You know, I think the great point, the thing about that you just said is, how many times have you ever, we're busy, where everybody says they're busy. How many of you ever been busy? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you ever thought you've been busy? Raise your hand. But if somebody's come up to you and like you and needs something, or maybe just needs the moment of being a human together, and in a way, what slipped out of your mouth was, "I've got a minute." Right? Right? How many have ever, we've all done that, and then you think, turn it around, right? What if that's their one moment of being with you? What if it's especially at Mary, in the industry Mary's had, and the millions of students we saw together, you know, we're always just like, we're here for you. We're just here. We've worked, 20-hour days. We've done this for 7 days in a row, and a student would come up right at the end because they had the breakthrough and their whole life has changed, and you still were just there. And I think that's what you were just there. And you weren't asking anything back, and you weren't putting a limit on what it was going to be. And that's that difference, I think, every time.
There are no limits in friendship, if it's a real friendship. Because friends are now family, and there's no difference. Blood does not make you family.
See, give that a round of applause. And the greatest thing about what we do is, you could say, well, where's this going tonight? We're having a conversation. The conversation goes where it does. If I have an audience out there, and when you do these, you have an audience that goes, oh, I don't want to hear about that. Well, then go listen to somebody else, right? But you go because you never know where a conversation's going to go, and you never know who's going to get changed. There might have been one person listening to the stream that what Nico. See, I got that locked in. What Marie said or what Anna said that just changed my life. That's the whole reason we're up here. It's those, because when we talk about all the views and the people that have seen you, it's that one person. You change that one life, you've done everything you should. A question that always comes up, because you have been in television for a long time, is there any moment that you were ever, during a shoot that you just remember as one of those great moments? You learned something, or somebody around you learned? And that's a hard question. It's been in for a long time.
I've been 31 years in the same show. I think, that's a good question, though, because I think what I just did Monday and Tuesday is something I'm very proud of, which is I did 8 shows in 2 days with anxiety. It's a crime, but I did it. And you just go through it because, nothing's going to stop me. And I had to, because it's how I make a living. And it got pretty risky there, pretty scary. But you do 8 shows in 2 days. I mean, it's ridiculous. But you do what you got to do.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And you've done this for a long time. And you click into something. Sometimes it goes automatic, though.
It is automatic. Yeah, and thank God that I have skills enough to know, to do it. But it's still very, very difficult.
But you showed up. See, that's the
I
thing.
showed up.
You showed up, and how many times? Because all of us, no matter what industry you're in, there's been those moments that it's a choice point of I'm here now, right? And what do I need to do just to get through that next moment? And right. And so for me, and Mary and I talk about this all the time. What I do is I step back and I go, how many people am I serving? How many people am I serving? I take it out of myself. And have you ever had those moments where it's really bad and you actually just go volunteer at a soup kitchen, or you do something out there in the community that gets you through that?
That's a great, I've done something like that, but I haven't done enough. And that's what I'm going to change my whole way of thinking.
We'll talk about that. So we actually only have, as you can see, the clock is counting down. We're right on time. Any last comments before I let you guys go? And give a round of applause for being here.
Well, thank you for having us today. Thank you to Mo for having us, and thank you to having us.
Of course.
And I just want to say, if you're not subscribed to State of Mind, his amazing show on mental health, please go to YouTube and follow him. And follow us on Instagram at Anna Demerges and at Maurice Bernard. And I just want to say something about this guy right here. He may play the baddest ass on TV with 3 damn Emmys and counting, but he is the kindest, most gentle human being I have ever met. Both him and his wife are authentic, family-oriented, most lovable humans on the planet. And they have given me this tremendous opportunity that I will never, ever forget. And just being in their life, I feel eternally blessed. Thank you, Maurice.
Jeez. It's like Gandhi. No, thank you for having me. This is fantastic. It's good for me to get out, especially kind of the way I'm feeling. But it's good for me to talk because it shows me that just let it out. Talking is awareness.
Step by step, every day.
Yes.
Day by day.
And get his book.
Get his book. Give us a round of applause. Thank you. All right, we're going to keep moving along. So for those of you who are coming up also on the panels, when it's your time, answers short and sweet, right? Short and sweet, because I'm really good at cutting you off. All right, fantastic. So now, let me grab the little introduction here and see, I put it over here. This is good. By the way, are we live streaming? Is that all good? Okay, we're good. Okay, I felt a lot of vibration in my pocket. All right, next, Rocio and Angel. Where are you? There you are. Fantastic. The Orchid. Oh boy, what a day. The Secret Code of Modern Goddesses, a self-help novel about women's transformative journeys to inner power and love. Come on up here. I love it. All right. The greatest thing about you two is that, first of all, the book focuses on the 5 lessons: awareness, gratitude, forgiveness, acceptance, and intention. The authors are Rocio and Angel. Lived in Mexico. You lived everywhere. Mexico City, Miami, Hong Kong, and Los Angeles. Give that a round of applause. And London. That's it. Oh, we got to talk about that one day. My mom lived up in actually Manchester, Preston, and Blackpool? So and then Cornwall. She lived on the coast. It was amazing. Inspired by their own quest for self-love, forgiveness, and purpose, the novel is their next step in leading an empowered life and sharing the learning with others. Published February 14th. Orchid is already touching and transforming the lives of readers around the world. Give them a thunderous round of applause. I got the little chair now. There we go. Now I'm going to sit a little closer.
Here.
Is it good? Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you. And thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Are you on there? Let me see. Here, I'll take that. I'll take that one. I'll answer this.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
We're very fair. Whoa, this one's loud. Okay, this is his room. Can we just have the mic brought down a little bit on this? Okay, we're switching mics. Okay. Testing 1, 2. I'll talk a little bit too. It's great to have you two here. one thing I'd like to do is when you read a book that changes your life and makes a transformation, it's not, again, you wrote it really for the world. You wrote it to make a difference, and I think that's a really critical piece here. And at the Los Angeles Tribune, we honor that. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But what inspired you to write the book?
My life. This is the book that I wish my mom has in her moment, and this is the book that I wish I had when I was at the point of making. I tried to take my life, and after having sexual abuse and after having really very difficult times, this is the book that I was simple and give you tools when you don't have friends and you need to really get out of the most darkest place. So this is something that take you there, like a step by step for you to really move forward and, and make a fantastic life of what you are doing. So that's for that reason we have this beautiful.
Rocio speaks of looking for forgiveness and learning how to forgive in order to move forward. In my case, it was purpose. I could forgive really easily, although I couldn't answer to her how I would and why. It just happened. And so when we started going through this process of introspection and we became better people individually, things happened. I want to use the word magical. It was a transformational experience. And then our marriage of 23 years became better than it's ever been. And so at that moment, we saw our lives change. And the only thing we could think was, how do we share this with other people? Because we are privileged, and we have the time and we have the resources to go through all of the processes that allowed us to get there, but many people around the world didn't. And so the best idea we could come up with was to write a novel that told stories about people that were transforming their lives.
You know, I think the great thing about that is that you're doing it. Does that you wrote the book, you're part of the book, right? It's part of you, but you're actually living it. So it's not a novel just for people to read and you wrote it for a good, it's to make a difference, change their lives, and you're walking in those footsteps. And I think sometimes there's a perception, is this book only for women? Talk about that.
Yes, and at the beginning we want to do, of course, the book for my mother, for myself, but it really is for everyone. So how many books have you read? Have you already read when they are only for men? So many. So this is a book that is catered for the women, because we are telling, when you read this, you're gonna go inside of the brains of women and how they think. If you are a man and you read this book, you won't understand how we think, how we see ourselves sometimes. So it's beautiful to share this journey with yourself in another point of view.
See, that's a great point. Because it's a journey. And I love that you use that word within there, because there's a tendency, we shy away from journeys in a way. It's like, I have to commit to something. And in the book also, the one thing you did is you laid out, we have a tendency of, it's too big of a chunk and we can't get there. And what you did is you said, no, take this step and here's some exercises. Okay, so here's the next step, which builds upon that. But even if you just did that, you keep moving forward. And that's really big from a learning paradigm, because a lot of times if it's too much or too big, or it's like we always talk, the losing weight thing, right? Losing weight, if you lose them, you want to get it back and all of that. It's step by step. Talk about that a little bit and why that is so important, because the team, when they read the book, they went, well, what's going to happen later, but when they read the book, they went, this is phenomenal, because it is truly, I could even start in the middle and move forward. Talk about that.
Well, we didn't know what to expect when we wrote it, but the idea was to make it as simple as possible for anybody of any education, of any background, to be able to read the book and connect with it. And so any word that required a dictionary, we took it out. So it was all about simplicity. And then it was all about making sure that the exercises that the people were doing in the spa, it's a story of 5 women who go to this amazing spa. and that all the exercises were things that people could do at home. And it was important for us to feel, the reader to feel that they were experiencing it as the women were experiencing it. And I'll add something else. When we wrote the book, we said, we just need, if we can change one life. And it's really humbling to see the amount of people who are writing now and saying, you are touching me, you've touched me, I'm making changes in my life, you've empowered me. We cry every day. So it's really,
I
it's really
feel
touching.
different about my relationship with other women. So that is like we are helping this domino effect to make it bigger. So that is what we want to do and create here. It's like let's help to empower every person in this room and feel better about themselves, and let's expand that energy all over the world.
And really, the essence of the Orchid is, and we spoke earlier about friendships. Well, not everybody has them, right? Or at that level. But when we all come together and we become one, we're each other's. I got your back. And if I got your back, then I can create a space for you to go inside and deal with that pain and deal with that trauma. And if you can do that, and you're willing to do it, I'm there to hold your space for you. And so really, the Orchid is a place where women go, and there's amazing people, amazing characters that are there just to give them the opportunity to go inside and deal with the garbage, with the trauma, with the pain.
You know, we are all human beings, and we're all born, and we're all going to die. We have these things in common, and it's what's in the middle that we're always working at every single day. And part of your path and trajectory that I think is fascinating is because you were in the you were in the media industry for a long time. What are some things that you learned in your working through that got you to where you're here today to write that book?
Wow, Matt, one of the things that I think is we tend to do what we see in television. So we need to start telling stories that are positive and about things that how we want to react when things happen. You know, we don't teach children how to deal with death in a family. How about if we taught that at early years? Or there's a lot of women out here, I wish everyone there could see, but what are the messages that are told to you via the television, via film, about how you should react when you break up in a significant relationship? They're not quite positive. Go and get ice cream, cry, make yourself an 8-ball and disappear. No, find your friends, speak it out, let it go, share it with others.
And don't suffer more than 2 days and move on. And it's like, oh my God, this is nice, and I feel better, and I decide to stop this relationship. So it's about really change way of thinking, because we create in us for really create bigger and better.
Well, and many people say this won't sell, but look, Ted Lasso, there's a number of great examples right now that you can actually make a business out of positive storytelling.
Yep. And I think that's a shift. I think we're really heading towards that shift. I think there was the beginning of it because in the personal development world, there was mindset, right? It was very much mindset, and then it became about money, and then Tony rose up. And he's like, well, it's back to, let's get our mind shift and let's really look at the positive. And then we had others that followed along. And what you're saying, I love it, because what's going on in media right now, right, there is that other side. I mean, there's more horror movies now than I've ever seen in my whole life. It's like Horror City. John Carpenter went down and everybody's doing it now. But I do believe that. I believe that we can do the other side. And I believe that money will start shifting that way if we keep doing it. And that's what you're doing. So first of all, give them a thunderous round of applause. The other thing too is from the Los Angeles Tribune, you know, our editors and our group read the book and they thought it was so just amazing. They recommended that your book becomes a Los Angeles Tribune bestseller. And I think it's one of the most amazing. So give them a thunderous round of applause.
Oh my God!
And one of those people who truly recommended this was Alisha. Alisha, talk a little bit about that. We're watching time, but go ahead.
Thank you. Well, Angel, Rocio, I have to say thank you so much for going down your healing journey together and then choosing to write The Orchid. The Orchid is truly a transformative book. It is a book that teaches healing, but through fictional characters, through the stories of 5 different women that have had their own experiences and they're navigating life, and they're taking that first step, the first principle, awareness. They're taking a step forward to figure out, what do I want to be aware about in my life? I read the book. It was so transformative. I was telling you both earlier that I sent it to my mother. My mother has sent it to her friends. And my mom, you were telling me earlier that you read a review of the book, and I think it's actually from my mother, but it's a book that reaches generations, but there are so many young women that can learn so much from The Orchid because it helps you heal, but through a character that is not yourself, so you can find pieces of yourself in someone else if you're not ready to go down that healing journey, but you can also find pieces of yourself through the characters in the book to go on the journey with them. And I think that's what makes the book so unique. So I read it, I reached out to our team, and I nominated it for the bestseller. So on behalf of the Los Angeles Tribune, the editorial team, our editor-in-chief, Abba Emmanuel, we just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
But we also want to say thank you for the gift that you've given to the world.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my God.
It's a message that's changing lives. We used to always say that. It's really and the team, and Alisha was the first one. I mean, she was like, she just like came on us, and it's in, and Mo Rock, our chairman, and was like, done. It's beautiful, and you guys have been amazing.
Thank you.
May I add
Yes, you
something?
may.
2 things. Number one, when you spoke to us about that and you used the word culturally relevant, and it touched us. And we just literally found out a few seconds ago that a review we had gotten. And one of those days when you feel like, should we go on? Is this worth it? And we got a review of an unknown person that basically brought us to our knees and made us cry deeply, and we just found out it was her mom. So that was quite touching.
Oh, okay, that's good. Give that another round of applause. You know, but that's the thing. Again, you've touched part of her family, and you've made a difference, and that's how this goes. So, all right, give them a thunderous round of applause, everybody.
Thank you. It is a gift to the world.
Thank you for being here.
so
Just
much.
thank you. No, you guys are awesome. All right, so now we're going to move to our next panel. We're going to take a 30-second reset. Don't go anywhere, and then we're going to go. So online, talk to them online. Here we go. Anywhere you want.
So as they take a break and they reset, I am very excited that Rocio was
So
actually.
you are.
No? Okay. Oh, wait a minute. We've got Alisha Magnus-Louis. Let me just bring her. But we are excited to say that the Orchid book was chosen as the Los Angeles Tribune bestseller. So let me bring Alisha up on stage. Alisha, let's go.
Are we back live?
We are live here at the Barnes & Nobles at the Grove. As you can see, you all have been tuning in.
Hello, everybody. My name is Craig Bruce. I'm founder and managing principal of Evolve Health and Lifestyle. We'll hear a little bit more about me on a panel, but this is about you guys. All right, super excited and honored to be able to share the stage with you. Where I'd like to begin is just give us a 30-second introduction of who you are and what you do. So we'll start with you.
Hello, thank you so much to the Los Angeles Tribune, Mel, Mike Silvers, and all the esteemed guests here tonight. My name is Dr. Priyadarshini Roy. I have a PhD in strategic media. I'm an actor producer, and I have my Bollywood debut coming up this year. But above all, I'm a lifelong learner, and I'm looking forward to learning from all of you guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you guys for having me. My name is Kimmery Moss. I am a poet. This is my book that I just published. I'm also a mom. That's where this book came through. My message is to moms, to women everywhere, to remember your power, to remember sort of like what we just heard, that people don't do as we tell them, they do what they see, they do as we do. So my message in my book is really that like the best gift that we can give to the next generation is not to tell them to live life fully. It's to live our lives fully. For our kids to see their moms like happy and fulfilled. And Harvard just came out with a study that the #1 factor for human success and like embodiment, self-actualization, is that the primary caregiver is happy and living a joyful life. So that's my message. That's what I learned when I wrote my book and had my babies. And so, yeah, that's me.
Thank you.
Happy to be
Thank
here.
you. Thank you for sharing that. We're super excited you're here. Next.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Kalpana Pot. I'm an actor, writer, host. I actually have a new show on Fox coming out July 8th sometime. Newly published author, published my first book because I actually have a background in astrophysics very randomly. And so I wrote a book because what I do on social media, I like to shameless plug, have a lot of followers, is that I make space and science very accessible to everybody. I'm very casual with my approach, so I always wanted to publish a book. And because I'm an actor, I'm like, oh, it has to be a story, it has to be narrative. And what they always say is write what you know. I'm like, well, I know how to make space fun. And so essentially I turned my social media videos into a little book that, you know, hopefully people can understand. They get a general overview of all things space related. And ultimately what my goal is in Hollywood is to tie my two passions together of storytelling and science and truly humanize people in the STEM world, because of the recent uptick in anti-science recently, which is very disturbing to me. And yes, that includes flat earthers. I encounter them a lot as well. Yeah, so I've just been truly enjoying the journey and very happy to be here.
And if you guys have not followed her and listened to some of her stuff on science, it's really cool.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey, it's working.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jack Rasmussen. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's very inspiring to hear everyone up here. I am also an author. I have 2 nonfiction books out. My first book is called Fine Dining, The Secrets Behind the Restaurant Industry. And I wrote that while I was at USC. Fight on. And I graduated in 2022. And my passion for food really informed that book. So I interviewed a lot of local chefs in LA, some in India, some on the East Coast in New York City. And that book is a very short, comprehensive book about how to be successful in the restaurant industry. And I plan on hopefully doing more with that and coming out with the second one. And then my second nonfiction book is called Yin Yang, The Secrets Behind the Restaurant Industry. And I wrote that while I was teaching English in Taiwan for a year through the Fulbright Scholarship Program. And that was an amazing experience. And I write very narrative writing about my experience there and the symbol and what it means to me. I'm very religious, so I like viewing my religion, which is Christianity, and connecting it to all different world religions. And I'm very interested in spirituality, so I hope to do more of that in the future. I'm currently working on my 3rd nonfiction book, and I'm also very interested in acting as well, so I'm getting into that this year, and I'm excited to continue writing.
That's super. Congrats. Good luck on the 3rd book. All right. Next up.
I feel left behind now. My name is Barry Selby, and I'm all about love. I have been a love and relationship expert for the last 15 years, and I am a passionate servant of the divine feminine. I'm also teaching men how to honor that too, which is why the work's harder for me now. I have 2 podcasts I co-host. I also have a best-selling book on Amazon called 50 Ways to Love Your Lover. 2 podcasts are Let's Talk Dating, and it was called Relationship Mastery, because frankly, somebody need to know how to start the thing before you get into the thing. So both podcasts have places to be. I'm originally from England, hence the accent, or lack of it from my point of view. And what else? I've had several careers before this, but the one thing that drove my work was the discovery of masculine and feminine power and authority, hence dedication to the feminine, that basically had me clarify what I was about the planet. So this is the rest of my life focus, and I'm also very spiritually based. I've got a background in spiritual. So I got one.
There's a message from above.
I've had conversations there too.
Yeah.
I have a master's degree in spiritual psychology, been a spiritual teacher for the last 20 years as well. So
Awesome.
I've got lots of things.
Thank you. Thank you, Barry. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys. I'm Dr. Chow Ong. I'm an immigrant from Vietnam. Came here to America. I thought the way to become financial freedom is to become a doctor. So I got my PharmD and MBA and rose to the top of a Fortune 1 company to find out that I can't really take care of my mom who's going through cancer because I had to go to work all the time. So the way I found out about my financial freedom journey was through corporate housing, Airbnb arbitrage, where I leveraged somebody else's property I don't even own that I sublet on Airbnb at the time and made it and retired when I was in my early 30s, retired my mom and dad. And now we have one of the oldest coaching company platform for midterm rental, corporate housing arbitrage in America, one of the biggest corporate housing network as well. And I'm on my way now to become already investing, also doing consulting for businesses to scale internationally as well. I see a lot. I love diversity. I love internationally, and we need to be represented. I also love empowering women, ladies as well, because my mom has really transformed my life as well. So thank you so much for being here.
Awesome, great. And
hello, everyone. It's not the voice of God, it's the voice of the woman.
oh, is there a difference?
There is not a difference because God is within us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I love this already. Hey, y'all. My name is Paris Rose, and just a side note, I do a lot of different things, but I enter into everything that I do with this history, this very rich history of being a former 8-time All-American swimmer. Need a sport to watch this Olympics next month. Watch swimming. There's some incredible swimmers competing for USA. And one thing I grabbed from my entire swim career is that your reps matter. Every stroke you take, every kick, every time you wake up, the way you respond to your alarms, the way you speak to yourself, the way you look at yourself in the mirror, everything matters. Your reps matter. So count each rep and allow those reps to matter for yourself, because ultimately those reps reflect how you feel about yourself, because those reps actually add up to a whole lot every single day. So,
did you guys write that down? Every rep counts. For those of you who are watching live streaming, did you write that down? I invite you to write that down. You heard it from Marisa.
Thank you.
We're going to come back to you. And again, we're going to keep the answers short because we got a couple more questions we want to ask. Is that okay? Sure. All right. What gets you out of bed in the morning? Why do you do what you do?
If I have breath in my lungs, that's enough reason to get out of bed. Because that's a gift. It's not a given. And why do I do what I do? Because I have breath in my lungs.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. That's powerful. Yeah. Let's give it up for that one. How about that? Dr. Chow.
What got me out of bed in the morning?
Yeah, why do you do what you do? Very quickly.
Yes, transformation, helping people identify with who they already are. Is the God-given, you are the son and daughters of God, you can achieve anything. You're already rich, so just receiving it.
Wow, thank you. Barry.
For me, simply that so many people don't know how to love and they're wounded. So my work is infinite. So there's a reason to get up in the morning.
And I gotta say, how about that voice? Isn't that like the voice of love? Awesome.
Beautiful accent, yeah.
Yeah, gorgeous.
I would say impacting and inspiring people to reach a higher vibration and a higher self-actualization. So if I can touch one person a day, that's my mission.
For me, it's I want to experience everything I can on this planet while we're going around the sun for however much time I have. So it's a little more selfish that way because it's about my experiences. But by doing so, I'd hope to, at least very specifically get people interested in science and pursuing STEM. So that's my driving factor.
Awesome, thanks.
Well, I'll say being selfish actually helps everyone, because the better and bigger and more embodied you are, everyone else can be too. So,
ooh, I love that.
I do really two things. One is being a mother. The reason I get up and do that is because it is so important and also such a direct way to affect the future of humanity. And I take that very seriously, and also it's really fun. And the reason that I'm a poet is that it is my way of communicating with the divine. And I think if I tried to not be a poet, the divine would just keep knocking. So awesome. I just do it.
Thank you. And you're going to wrap us up and bring us home.
All right. There's a lot of spiritual talk, so In Hinduism, we have a word called dharma, which coamalgamates with the word karma. Dharma means to do your duty, and I think that everyone has a purpose, and we all have our duty, and we were all sent here for our purpose, and that's what keeps me going every morning, knowing that I, as a storyteller, am here to share stories, but encourage others to also share theirs as well.
Awesome. Let's give it up for this amazing time. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Amazing. All right, we're going to ask you to, and I think we're going to, Michael, are you coming up?
Yes, always. Give them a thunder round of applause.
One more round of applause for these guys. Thank you guys so much.
Good job, good job. You got a lot of mics there. Give Craig a big thunderous round of applause, everybody. You know, they're like, another round of applause? Is this going to drive me crazy? All right, Karen, we got the next people ready to go? Karen. Oh, look at, I know, this is going to be fun. All right, you know, it's a lot of times what happens is you meet somebody, and actually, we just talked, what, last week? Was that just last week? And there's just like, I'm like, I like this guy. I don't know what it is. I don't know who he is. And does anybody know Rex Sykes? Okay, so he like put us together on a date. Everybody got that part? And when I talked to him, I went, all right, there's something really cool here. We started to talk about music, right? We talked about the Hollywood Bowl. We just sort of dove right in, and it was easy. So this is my mic. I'll move it around a lot. So this next gentleman was head of casting, am I right? For MGM for 16 years. Give that a thunderous round of applause. Mr. Paul Weber. There you go. Here's your mic.
Thanks.
Okay.
Gosh, I'm up here by myself.
Yes, you are.
Love this panel.
Is that good? Is that, you know, I was so impressed. We're just going to talk about this Himalayan. Was it the Himalayas? How many days did you go?
10 days felt like 30.
Did it? How high did you go?
Well, we got to 15,000.
You did?
The South Annapurna range. And, you know, it's a great first step toward Everest, right?
Yeah.
So it's a great journey for me.
Well, so that's my next question.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean.
Are you?
I would love to do that.
Okay.
You know, or Kilimanjaro.
Right.
You know, and I'm not a trekker, really. I just like pushing the boundaries a little bit.
Okay.
Especially in our business. I think we all have to do that.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. The industry you're in, did you say you ever pushed the boundaries?
Well, you know, I always talk to actors. I'm a casting director, and I'm also an educator, and I train actors as well too, and teach audition technique. And I realized that, am I really walking the walk enough? Because I always tell them, actors, you need to push the envelope. You know, you need to sort of push your boundaries to get to a deeper level of the work you're doing. And if you don't face those fears, you may not be the greatest actor that you hope that you could be. And I thought, what am I doing? You know, what am I doing to push the envelope? Am I walking the walk enough? And so I think one of these kinds of adventures are the kinds of things that I like to do, to say, yeah, I can try to do some of that too.
But I think that's great, because you're talking about pushing the envelope, always pushing the boundary and doing something different or continuing to move forward. You know, and I think that's great, because that's how we learn. It's sort of been the theme of tonight. It's take a step forward. And you did have an acting background. So talk about that.
Yeah, I did. I came to LA not knowing anything. I had a theater background, so I didn't understand film or television or auditioning at all. So I decided I would intern, throw myself on the mercy of a casting office, and yeah, maybe that's me. Right. And I decided I would just. Oh, good. I decided I would just intern in a casting office as an actor to see how they make the sausage here, and it sort of pulled me in, and at the same time it pulled me out of acting at a certain point, because one of the first shows I worked on as an intern and an assistant was 21 Jump Street. Remember that show?
Yeah.
The original one?
Yeah.
Who was the star of that?
The original one. That was good.
Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah.
I think he was probably responsible for pushing me out of the business, because I went, I don't know if I can do that. So I blame him for me becoming a casting director, because he was just one of those first impressions that I saw of an actor that really made that kind of impression. And I thought, wow, this guy's got it.
You know, but a lot of times our life, it takes many different roads. Because even when you were doing what you're doing now, you just climbed a mountain. You made a decision to do it. And did you train at all?
I did. I did Runyon a bunch. It's not, you do it once and then you maybe do it 5 or 6 times in a loop, and then it kind of feels like you got a real workout there. Because I didn't have a lot of time, I decided just to do it, and yeah, I felt ready. Part of it was just mentally as well too. It's like, and I'm a bike rider too, and once you do your first century, 100 miles on a bike, and that was a long time ago, I realized I could probably still do that. At least up here, I think I could still do that. And so I just thought, I'm going to be able to do this. If I can do running, I can do something else. Right?
And I love that. Right? That's great. Because, first of all, by the way, everybody write this down. I'm talking to them out there, but you can do it. Come on. July 25th to 28th, we're going to be doing our next Tech 2024 show. But everybody you've seen here tonight and on this panel is going to be invited to be part of the Los Angeles Tribune Big Tech Show. And it's going to be, and you think, okay, what does tech mean? It's going to be podcasters, actors, media, it will be AI, because we're all using it now. We're all doing something to step forward every single day. And so, first of all, so everybody up here, you're going to see them again. They don't know it all. Some of them do, some of them don't. But it's because we're creating a community and a family. And I think that's a critical piece with everything we do at the LA Tribune. It's about community and family and moving together. But back to you.
I feel like I'm auditioning.
Was that
so
you are? So, by the way, so write in right now, Paul Weber, thumbs up. No, I'm kidding. But it's, the thing is though, you live life. You learned as an actor certain things, and then you lived it, and you did it. As it made you a better casting director. Everything you do makes you better at what you do, and now you're producing, correct?
Yeah, I just got kind of lucky and got involved in a film. It's on Hulu now. It's R.L. Stein's Zombie Town. R.L. Stein, the children's writer, and we developed it, and it's starring Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd and Henry Czerny and the kids in the hall. It's a kids zombie movie. It's not going to scare anyone, not even kids, but it was sure a lot of fun to work on and develop, and if I can do that, because I think we're all looking to expand upon what we do, and as a casting director, I love what I do. As a teacher and audition coach, I love what I do, and this was a great opportunity to push the envelope a little for me there.
And that's what you said. Everything you've done that I've heard is you've been teaching. You've been teaching, you've been training, you've been really looking at not only how you push yourself, but how you get others to where they want to go. And I think that's what life's about. So first of all, give Paul Weber a big thunderous round of applause. With the 45 seconds that we have left, any last comments for the audience, or especially our audience virtually out there?
Well, just listening to the journeys of all of these incredible panelists, by the way, Maurice Bernard I cast in a movie, and just hearing, I did not know his story. So the way many of us deal with fear and anxiety and rejection and victimization, especially in the business, artists are so vulnerable and so sensitive, and I remember feeling that way as well too, and being able to work with actors and pull them into this overused word called empowerment, but I think it's so powerful to be able to do that and bring actors into feeling that they can do this and they've got this and not feel victimized. Right. That's what I love to do, and give actors the power to sort of take the stage.
Give Mr. Paul Weber a big thunderous round of applause. Awesome, wonderful. It is about, we're educating, and it's about the education and really taking people to the next level. For those of you out there, thank you for the comments that are coming in. Thank you for the live stream. Thank you for being on. Hey, it's you again. Hello. And it's about enjoyment. Now, first of all, you sat for a little bit. You're not allowed to move or go anywhere, but everybody please stand up. Everybody please stand up. Turn to somebody on your right and say, you are amazing. Turn to somebody on your left and say, but I'm amazing. All right, have a seat, have a seat, have a seat. So let me tell you something that also happens. When you have an audience stand up, it was your tournament. No, sorry.
You wind me up.
We worked a long time. So when you have an audience stand up, that's their permission to go to the bathroom. So the minute people stand up, you've got to watch. You could lose. So you just realize that happens, and you try to say, stand up, don't go anywhere, have them talk to each other. The other reason that you do that with an audience is they're creating community. When they create community with the people around them, they won't leave. So those are just the things you do when you're doing an event, and it gets to be the halfway mark, and maybe they're not as excited, and they can't believe they're listening to all these panelists, and they're thinking about their kids or their family or the shoot tomorrow or the work they have to do, and why am I even here? And then you have fun doing it. Let's give this next panel a big thunderous round of applause. All right, good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each one. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to let them do what's called an ETR. They're all earn the right. So tell everybody your name, and I'll pick who goes first. We'll go for your name. Everybody got that? The name of your business or what you do. Remember, 30 seconds or less. We're watching the clock, right? You guys can see the clock too. And something about you nobody else knows. Yeah, you know this one. And we'll start with Christine. You don't have, could she have a mic, please? Is that okay? He's good.
Hi, I'm Dr. Christina Castanini. I am a licensed psychologist and certified eating disorder specialist, and I have a podcast, Behind the Bite. I talk about eating disorders and body image issues on the podcast, and something nobody knows is I'm a certified Reiki healer.
There you go. Give that a round of applause.
Hello everyone, my name is Joe Naz. I am owner of Joe Naz Accident Lawyers, actually a personal injury attorney in Orange County. And through the last couple of years, I've been on a deep journey of personal growth. I want to understand how the world works. And as I learned how the world works, I began to understand myself better. So what I did is I started a podcast called the Joe Naz Podcast, where I share everything that I learned so that people can better understand themselves, inspire others, and grow. Because I think our purpose and passion in the world is to be the best version of ourselves. Guilty pleasure for me that nobody really knows is my favorite thing. I like to watch anime all the time, so that's probably my little secret.
Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Fogel. Thanks for being here tonight. It's a great night here. I work with Nexus International. They're a group of business advisors in Dallas, Texas. We're revolutionizing the way that business owners are doing their financial planning. A lot of business owners don't know that the structure they choose dictates the tax code they use. We can help our business owners or our clients defer up to 70 to 95% of their taxes, therefore helping them exponentially grow, protect, and preserve their wealth for generations. Something that, well, no one in this room knows. I have 4 boys, 17, 13, 11, and just turned 6.
All right, how is that possible? Hey, who here considers themselves a high achiever, high performer? Yeah. Have you ever asked yourself the question or questions, is this all there is to life? Or what's next? Or is this who I really am? Well, that's why I founded Evolve Health and Lifestyle. My name's Craig Bruce. And every day what we're doing is we're working with and empowering high-performing executives, business leaders, and entrepreneurs to continue to achieve at that high level of success, but without sacrificing your health, your wellness, and the relationships that most of us sacrifice to get to where we are. Something that nobody in this room knows about me is I'm publishing and releasing my first book in August.
Give that a thunderous round of applause. All right, keep going. Now, panelists, remember, 30 seconds or less. Let's keep it rocking and rolling.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Lisa Tan, or Dr. Suntan, because you'll find me on the beach in Puerto Rico, living life on my own terms. And I love to help other female professionals live life on their terms.
Awesome.
Something you don't know about me, I love Curious George and the man in the yellow hat. So tonight I'm the author in the yellow dress.
Oh, wait a minute, I do too. Give her a round of applause for that.
That was so good.
Hi, I'm Emily, the Angel Coach, and I love and awaken people into experiences that were more than human. And something that a lot of people, actually, it's funny, I was sitting, I'm like, I don't think I've ever said this to anybody. Because I see angels, I get to walk around and see stuff for a lot of people, so I'm constantly blasting people with prayers and blessings based on what I'm being shown they're going through and they need help with. So I'm constantly just in that place of loving everyone. So
give us another round of applause.
Hi guys, I'm Noel Agape, and I am a quantum energy trainer. I am a neuroscience, and I work with neuroscience, but mostly I'm an executive producer, and I am here to get people's voice out to the world as big as possible. And something that most people don't know about me, Michael knows about this, is I'm a badass wakeboarder, and I love wakeboarding and water skiing. And my mission is to really allow people to see that they have a mission and a voice within inside of them, and it's God in them, through them. And the power of moving through any circumstance to get to your power is within inside of you. No one else.
Give that a thunder round of applause. Thank you. All right. So, we're really an audience wants to know. We can ask questions, but we don't have time to do that. So, what's really important is, what can I take away? What is one thing I can do right now, listening to you, that either by waking up, or it's my business, or my life, or a habit, whatever that is, just give me one tidbit right now, especially for our virtual audience, say hi, virtual audience, that I could take away from this panel. They're going to remember two things: what you gave them that way, and the one thing about you nobody else knows. So those are the two things they're going to remember. So I'm going to start, we're going to do this a little differently. Oh, since you have the mic, we're going to let you go first. And remember, panelists, see that clock? When that's over, it's over. So make sure everybody's got time. 30 seconds, go.
One thing that you can take away is that your power is inside of you. Connect to you, connect to your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit, and everything is inside of you.
So one thing that I encourage you is to take moments throughout the day to remind yourself that you're more than human. So I like to say, oh, my human's going through this, or my human's feeling this, and then I kind of go back home and remind myself that at home I am available and have access to so much information through intuition, through connection, and I'm more than human. So take time to remember that, because it'll change everything. Opens doors to miracles.
Give a round of applause so far. By the way, when you're running a panel, they can hardly see me because I'm off camera. But when you're running a panel, you can let if a panel, like this panel is just going, leave it up to them. Does that make sense? If your panel is having some, then plus what they have to say, or try to bring it out of this panel, I do not need to do that. Go ahead.
This is the gift that Rocio and Angel gave to me from reading The Orchid. Let it go, let it go. Don't need to hold on anymore.
Well, how do you follow that? My tip we heard earlier from Maurice: create a morning ritual that involves the following science-based habits, and it will change your life. Start your morning with gratitude. Ask that question: what am I grateful for? Second, hydrate before you caffeinate. Third, get out and move and get some sunlight.
Mine would be follow your curiosity, just because of my always wanting to discover the hidden secrets of the world and learn about things that aren't, well known about and talked about. And I've just discovered little secrets for just regular families, or families like teachers or veterans, just how they can create generational wealth for their family. So just never stop your sense of learning and discovery.
My number one tip, which I think is hilarious, is read more books. And we're in a Barnes & Noble. But read more books. Many times you're not reinventing the wheel. There's someone out there who's a specialist. There's more books than you can ever read. Get yourself inside of a book, learn and download that person's knowledge. It will change your life in an instant.
One thing I always tell my patients is you don't have to believe everything you think. And so just want to put that out there. We often say very negative things to ourselves, and just don't believe all of them. You can challenge them and have a lot of self-compassion and self-care.
Awesome. Give that a thunderous round of applause. Well, you guys did that so amazing. What I'd like to know, again, is, so you gave them that tidbit. You gave them that thing they can use. You told them a little bit about yourself. They'll connect with you because they're all going to be on the show July 25th through 28th. It's like I'm doing a commercial, right? But just if I was watching and I was thinking, I love what I'm doing, or I'm here, or I'm not sure, or maybe I'm not even moving forward, or maybe I'm not that happy, or maybe I'm really happy. People are in different places. What is one word that summarizes what you're creating? Oh, sorry.
Community. Community. Awareness. Awareness of the self and beyond the self.
Love.
Fulfillment.
Peace.
Introspection.
So first of all, give them a thunderous round of applause. This panel, you got to see how many panelists on here. And this, a lot of people who run big events like this, they would be afraid, right? That this would go on. They hit it. And if these are people you ever want to know and work with, we're all going to be here networking after we're done. But these are an amazing 7 people on a panel. It's the biggest panel actually I've ever run. And they ran it themselves. So give them a thunderous round of applause. All right, you guys, you're awesome. Fantastic. That was great. Oh, we even kept, look at that at the time. All right, next. So when you transition to different types of panels, there's always different education knowledge. All right, they're getting to know each other. See, the other thing, too, is when panelists get to really know each other, then they start hugging and kissing, and you got to get them off, and then they're going to get off stage, and you're sort of pushing them. Yeah, I knew you were going to do that. All right, so we have lunch. Okay, go ahead and have a seat, everybody. Grab it. Here, we'll pass some mics down there. There we go. There we go. Awesome. All right, so you guys ready for more? Ready for more? Back row, ready for more? Yeah. All right, fantastic. Okay, that's 2 of you. Let's try 2 of you. Are we ready for more? Because remember, the audience at home, too, is keeping the energy, and we're keeping always the energy as we move forward. So this next panel comes from, well, I'm actually going to let you introduce it. So this next group of amazing panelists are because of a new journey with the Los Angeles Tribune. It's about getting the message out, but one community, one family. So Lillian, I'm going to let you tell them what we're doing. Give Lillian a big thunderous round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael, for having us here tonight. And I am so honored to develop this journey with the Vietnamese community. And we are launching the Vietnam Journal this month, as well as a podcast. And I'm so honored to have interviewed amazing people these last month, and to have my friend Quinn Nguyen join me on this journey, as well as Dr. Emily Le Tran, who is not able to join us today. And I also have my friend Tien Pham, who is an actor and producer of the News Sympathizer on the HBO series.
Give a thunderous round of applause for that. Because part of what we're doing is community, right? We're trying to get into the different communities, but it's about making a difference. It's not that we want more publicity or more readers. It's more, are we making a difference with it, and have we listened to the voices of that community? So each of you, tell the audience again your name. They heard from you your name, what you do for a business, or what even a mission you're on. That's up to you. And one thing about you nobody else knows.
Well, as I'll you know, of a movie and documentary, and I hope to add an author to that this year.
Give that a round of applause.
Wow, what a incredible energy in this room, so inspiring, and so many amazing people. So I am so honored to be here, and my name is Quinn Nguyen from Texas. I am in real estate, and have so much fun with Lillian. We have been wearing too many hats and been on the same journey, and I just so excited to see more.
Give that a round of applause. And by the way, before we do go on, these two have literally from the launch of the journal, you've traveled everywhere. Seriously, right? You were just in Cannes at the film festival. You have been everywhere because they saw a mission, and literally it was like the next day you were off and running. Because it's how do we make a difference? How do we make a change? But how do we get to our community? But get to the bigger picture and what makes a difference. So give them a round of applause for what they're doing.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tien Pham. I'm a film producer and actor. Thanks for the introduction, Lillian, but I just want to make a quick correction in case HBO is watching. I'm not a producer on that show. I am a recurring supporting lead on it. So it's called The Sympathizer. It's a Pulitzer Prize winning novel, and it co-stars Robert Downey Jr., Sandra Oh, and an all-star cast of amazing Vietnamese actors from all around the world, and we get to tell the story of this war that, according to the author, Viet Thanh Nguyen, it's not the Vietnam War, but it's the American War, and it follows a communist spy from the north who infiltrates the South Vietnamese Special Force and escapes at the fall of Saigon to America and assimilates over here and continues to spy and sends information back while he figures out his own identity around with everybody else. So it's a pretty cool and amazing show. Hope you guys check that out.
You know, thank you for coming here and being with us. You got a great voice, by the way. So if anybody's ever told you that, you got a great voice. And you know, because of what you do and being an actor, what's something about you nobody else knows?
I started my career in the performing arts, but I never thought about being an actor. I got into acting because I was a magician at the time of magic, and I performed, some spots, including the Magic Castle to the Queen Mary, and different events. And so I took my first theater class in college to enhance my performance as a magician, and then I just fell in love with acting because you get to tell stories, different types of lives, and just different genres across the board, from the stage to film, television, and it just transcended myself just as a human being alone.
Give that a round of applause. We heard how the story of transcending the living glory. Okay, fantastic. You know, and with what you're creating and really being in the community and making a difference, but the thing that I like that I hear all the time is it's not just about the Vietnamese community, right? It's a worldwide project because it's about all of us living together, making a difference, trying to make a difference. And can you talk a little bit about one thing that, like I said before, this is really important. The audience also wants to know, what can I do? What is one thing I can do today? What can I take away? If I'm trying to transform my community or make a difference, give them some examples or something they can do, and I'll have all of you answer that.
Well, for example, right now in Oregon, I'm the president of the Vietnamese Cultural Center, and we were able, for the first time in history, to elect 5 state representatives into office. And we have the most Vietnamese representation in the entire nation. That is history in making itself, right?
Give that a round of applause.
We were also able to get a grant for $2.5 million to build out a community center for the Vietnamese, for anybody actually who wants to learn about the Vietnamese heritage and culture. And we are very proud to be the first ones as well in the nation to be able to do that. And I feel that everybody has an opportunity to make a difference. And I am just one, and I did not do it by myself. There's a ton of people that have supported us on this journey. And so if you feel that you are alone, you are not. If you have an idea, pursue it, do it, have that voice for your community, and you will find people to join you on that journey.
Give that a round of applause.
I came from a very normal background. My family don't have any story of success, but then I happen to have
To know some friends that
really lift me up
and bring me into the circle where I see a lot of amazing stories. So, and that's how I grow so fast, and that's how I am here in a short time because of that energy. So I think hearing more inspiring stories really help somebody out there. There's always a story that has touched somebody and guide them away to where they want to go. And for that, Emily Lee Tran asked me to join her in Los Angeles Tribune Vietnam Journal and highlight more of the Vietnamese community successful stories. I'm all in because I think we have a big mission and we keep telling inspiring stories, successful story to make a good example and to keep that energy going within our community as far as all of the community. So that is what I'm at.
All right, give that thunder round of applause. And with the minutes we have left, go ahead and answer the same question. I think that's important.
Well, with me, I draw from my personal experience, and when I was 6 months old, as a baby, my mother and father took a chance and escaped their country in Vietnam after the war with me. And at that time, you couldn't allow a baby that young to go, because if I had cried or made noise, that would have alerted the communist or anybody, then they would shut us down or even imprison us. So my mother basically more or less drugged me, medicated me I was asleep for about 2 days and 2 nights as they trekked through the jungles and onto the shores of the ocean, where they were separated, but then later on they met up together miraculously again, and from there we trekked across the ocean for about 14 days, very little food and water, and it was so heavy that my mother said you could actually reach over and just touch water. And all the way through there, and then made it to an island in Hong Kong where we were at a refugee camp for about 1.5 years, and then made it to America, to LA, where my dad is, he's an engineer, my mother's a fashion designer and businesswoman. They wanted the best for me, but for me, I always felt like the arts was my calling, writing, being creative, and playing music. And so for me, my journey for the last 27 years, when there was barely any Vietnamese actors, let alone Asian actors, was to take that shot and to be not just good at something in life, but to be great at something. And no matter how far I would go, if I made it or not, but I was always going to not wonder what if. And so for me to have this day with all of you beautiful people here is to let you know through my inspiration, my work, and my humanitarian efforts, is to those who made it, we all have one thing in common, and that's basically they never gave up. So even when it's the darkest of times, it feels like it's pouring out there, just know it can't rain all the time, and just keep going.
Give that a round of applause. Would you please just thank the 3 amazing panelists? Give them a round of applause. Thank you. It's about the community we change and the difference we're making. You guys are doing it over. So give them a round of applause again. Awesome. Thank you. All right. You ready for more? So we have 2 more amazing people, then a panel, and then it's going to be networking time. There's going to be time. There's food at the back, whatever's left. There's drinks. Don't go now. And also, Mary and I and the team will be around for any questions. If anybody has anything, you can schmooze with us. Also, if you have not met me, and so I am the Vice President of the Los Angeles Tribune. I've done a million things in my life, but most of it just because Mary Glorfield teaches me what to do. But have a mentor in your life. Always have a mentor in your life. But if you haven't reached out to me yet, I'm going to do something. They always say, don't do this. Here's my cell phone number. If you text me, do not just text me and say hi, because then you're one of those spammers that I block. Got that? Text me your name, your business, what you do, what you'd like to create in the next year. Do not make a novel. This is like 3 words. And one thing about you, nobody else knows. So again, audience out there, if you don't know who I am, get to know me. If you have a message, a story, a podcast, you want to be on stage, next year we're having 4 live events. We'll have 4 here at Barnes & Noble's. Thank you, Barnes & Noble. Give that a round of applause. And we're also going to have our big virtual shows where we've gone out to over 1 million people. We'd love to hear the stories, and we want to know more what you're about. Text, you want to hear my number, right? They need the number. Is that a good thing? I did this once, and I totally forgot to get my number. So that was a big room, too. 425-894-0023. You can say, hi, Michael Silvers, so I know that you know who I am, which they do anyways when they're spamming, and then answer those questions. I promise in the next week I will get back to you. So next, Carolyn Scott Thomas. I got that right? It's been no, I did. What? Hamilton. How did I get Thomas? Where did I get that from? Oh, you're right. I did. And let's not talk about that movie because I got a whole thing about that movie. So give Carolyn Scott Hamilton a thunderous round of applause. She's just going to be up with you just for a couple minutes up here. She's lived a life with traveling and cooking and everything, right? Is that right?
A little bit of everything.
And can I say we are potentially, I'm going to give this a potential, going to launch a Los Angeles Tribune travel show with Carolyn at the head of it. Give that a thunderous round of applause. And if it doesn't work out, it will, but it will. We make everything happen. Just talk, we only have a couple minutes. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've done and really the mission you're on. Go ahead.
I host and produce my own travel show that I launched in 2006. I also am a vegan chef, a holistic nutritionist, a naturopathic doctor, and I've written several best-selling cookbooks, and I also am a screenwriter and wrote my first fiction novel. It's a Christmas book. It's a Mrs. Claus origin story because she never gets any love. It's called When Chris Met Kringle. So hopefully some studio will read that book and be like, we gotta make that Christmas movie.
I like that. That's good. So she's an underachiever, by the way. So give that a round of applause. And the other thing too is literally, because we talked years and years ago, I saw a need, I called you up, you said, I'm here. What do you need? Let's get it done. Those are the kind of people I like to work with. And then I happened to mention something about a Spanish journal, right? And you said, I'm in. What do you need? I'll help out. Whatever you need, let's go. But it is about, it's just, you live life.
Yeah.
And you live life and you enjoy it the whole way. What keeps you going every day?
Coffee. It is. I love to live life. I like to suck the marrow out of every bone, even though I'm vegan. And I love to experience everything. And just meeting people, doing things, making memories, just stacking it all up.
Give that a round of applause. So by the way, my best friend on the planet is vegan. I've been hearing this story from him for like 10 to 12 years. He is on me to no end, let me tell you. Because then he shows me his labs, they're like a 17-year-old. And I love what you're doing because you do it, does she love what she does?
Yeah.
Can you see that in here? But that, people will see that. And when they see that you're loving what you do, they want to know, how can I have part of that? Or can I do that? Or what is it that you're doing with all that energy? Mary and I know, we worked with Thomas Tadlock, who's a bodybuilder. And he's a vegan bodybuilder. He's one of the first. And he's got more energy than we used to be on the peaks, the big stages. And it's, you have this energy about you that's very life-giving. And I think that's a really important piece, which is why we want to do the work we do, because I think that's important. It draws people. But if you were to be 10 years from today, how would your life look?
Oh man, I'd have my private island and a harem of hot dudes.
This is our new show. We're going to take the fantasy island thing, and we're going to move from there.
No, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing, teaching more people, making new memories, new friends, new experiences, launching more businesses, creating more things that help people enjoy life the way that I do.
Give her a round of applause for that. What a great energy, right? This is good. We're going to have you on all the time. But it is also, as you live life and you really bring that out, what I loved is, though, that the conversation we had, you were like, I'm in. I don't even know what it is, because that's sort of how I do it. Mary knows me. Mary's like, I'm in. I don't know what it is, but let's just figure it out. And I think what that does is, I learned a long time ago, just say yes.
Yep.
If it's called ecological, no harm to yourself or others. If it fills that, just say yes and figure it out at that point. Because we say no too many times, we shut ourselves down, and then a year later we're like, what did I do? And why did that start? So what is one thing, with the 20 seconds we have left,
But what is the one thing the audience can take away right now and even just do tomorrow to change? Food habits, life, walking, exercise, anything.
Stop overthinking and just do it. I think most people suffer from analysis paralysis. And like you mentioned earlier, I'm very much the same way. Like, just get it done and get it out. We can fix it later. Or 9 times out of 10, people don't even notice the mistake. Just do it. Just frickin' do it.
Awesome. Give Carolyn a thunderous round of applause. Awesome. Thank you so much. Awesome for being here. Make sure you talk to her. There's a little bit of energy there, so it's great. You know, but there's a direction and there's a purpose, and that makes a big difference. So, we ready to go? Give the team a big thunderous round of applause for sort of keeping me on time. No, we're pretty much on time. Are we pretty much on time? We are really right on. I can't believe that. That's amazing. It's not even 10 o'clock yet. Slow it down. All right. So, by the way, I've been getting texts since I said that. That's pretty funny. You know, are you afraid to give out your phone number? So, being in the industry I was in, you didn't give out your phone number. I mean, I'd be in front of audiences, 10,000 people. Do you know what 10,000 texts look like? And you just didn't get out your number because they're going to be creeps. Mary knows how this is, right? We don't give out our number. And I learned a couple of years ago, first of all, if you're creepy, I block you, right? And I've had the same phone number for almost 20 years now. At the same time, if nothing else, I'm building a new connection. If nothing else, I might not be able to help you, but maybe I know somebody who can. And that's really what life is about. It's building the connections over and over and over. And every time I look at a text, I'm like, how can I be of service? How can I help them? I am a little laser focused on the message, the media, the podcasting. I mean, I have that in my brain, right? So Mary and I are doing this, we're at legacy time of our lives. We're doing this because we want to, not because we have to. But it's continuing that mission. So I'm never afraid to give out the information because you never know what you're going to get back. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But that's that part of me. Bob Proctor, anybody remember Bob Proctor? He told me just say yes. First of all, he told me buy every single course on the planet. So I have more books and tapes down in my garage that I've never listened to. Right? I had the whole series, but I still said yes. I literally bought everything. I went to every course. I went to the live events. I saw Tony in Shanghai. I mean, you know, it's wherever you go, and you just keep moving forward. All right, so here we go as we keep moving forward. We have our last amazing, and then we'll have a panel, and then can we celebrate at the end by a big thunderous round of applause and a thank you? And we'll say thank you to the audience, we'll say thank you to our team, then there'll be food, and there's some stuff left, and we just schmooze and have fun, and then you can go home whenever you want. How's that sound? All right, good. All right, fantastic. So, we're ready? Penn, you sure? Yeah. Penn, I see him standing up there, he looks like. All right, Mr. Penn Denton, give him a thunderous round of applause. How are you? This is another gentleman that I just met, but the gentleman who knows this gentleman is somebody that I know, like, and trust. I'm going to have to move down just one seat. We're going to move that one. There we go.
Let's see if this works. It works. Brilliant.
It does. It's good. So since we just met, tell the audience a little bit about yourself. And remember, too, that we have a camera there, a camera. That camera, where is that aiming? It's a low camera. But so there's a camera there, a camera there, a camera there. But we do have a big live audience listening now, so tell them a little bit about yourself.
Grew up in a family that when I was a little kid were making short films in England. 4 years old, I was riding an alligator in one of their films that went into the movie theaters. I watched what effect the camera had on people, how it's magical. And since that point in my life, I knew I wanted to cast spells with a camera and tell stories. My mother died when I was 8, and my father married a very difficult and disturbed woman. My life became very difficult. I dreamed of being creative. I was punished for it, and even put in a foster home for a while along with my sister and brother. And it gave me an outsized sense of wanting to support other people with dreams and creativity. It also filled me with doubt that I had to overcome. And when people say, what are your biggest mistakes? I say my errors of omission. When I cowered out of doing things, thought I'd be embarrassed. I left school at 15 after winning the school photography prize, being the lead in the school play, and getting a story in the school magazine, thinking that's as good as it'll ever get. I'm getting out of here, because they were bullying me about my math. And being a dreamer wasn't something they were trying to prepare you for. And all my life I tried to figure out how to help others to discover what they have in them, and learned that I'm from a different kind of space. I think the human beings are like a spectrum, and we're sort of, as the dreamers and the filmmakers and the storytellers and the people that create things that have never existed before, we're kind of like a shaman. And we take risks to do this, And what we have to do is understand that these risks are things that we are bringing on ourselves. It's not a weight that we're putting on ourselves. It's an opportunity to discover. And I left school and then fled to Canada at 19, thinking I was a washed-up failure, and found a country that accepted me, that allowed me to start making short films, and started learning by making little steps, and also found out that to sell your work, you had to get acknowledged. And so I started entering films and founded a little group of people all like me, all exploring, started winning Oscar nominations, started winning things for films that we self-initiated. What I learned was that when you do something to try and please other people, it's never as good as the things you're passionate about that come out of the things that maybe don't have a market. And I'm going to jump forward. I ended up in Hollywood because Norman Jewison saw one of my short films and brought me to Hollywood out of the blue. And I was very scared because we had a company, we had staff, we had everything going. And what I learned was that I was as good as the people in Hollywood, which I didn't know. I thought they must be very special. And I also ended up going to having the privilege of having a child with my wife and watching the movies that were being made at that time, all about killing people, Stallone and Schwarzenegger, mowing people down. And I wanted to make a film that said something about the future that my kid was going to grow up in. So I came up with this idea for Robin Hood. And I wanted to do a Robin Hood where a man who was a rich, arrogant baron's son ends up being willing to die for the future of his peasants' children. And I also wanted to do a film where you put a Muslim and a Christian side by side, learning from each other, as opposed to trying to kill each other. And I pitched that at 3 studios. They all told me that was the stupidest idea they'd ever heard. They said they want to see people with swords, they want to see people with guns. And one of our assistants said to me, I think that idea is wonderful. If you start trying to write it, I will do my best to support you. The only reason that that movie exists is because that one person's little blowing on the ember brought me to starting to write that script. And as I wrote it, my partner, John Watson, who hadn't understood why putting an Arab in a movie could work, started to read my pages and became my biggest ally and helped me to overcome my self-doubt about it. We ended up competing with, when the studios wanted no Robin Hoods, suddenly there were like 4 Robin Hoods. And we ended up making our film and succeeding. And I'm so lucky because that then changed my opportunities in the film world. And then I started to learn what I want, and I want you to yearn to do as well, is to learn to think dangerously. When I say dangerously, what I mean is look to things that you don't know that others will accept yet that you believe in. I wrote a book on screenplay writing, and the first chapter I put in was on passion. And I was teaching at USC because I wanted to change people. I wanted to help other people develop what I would call emotional armor, the ability to go out into the world and take on obstacles and changes as they went out to their journey, and not to believe that there's a right way to do it, because I think we're all like automatic navigation systems. If you put us on the road and we drive left, we'll come back and find the right way. So there is no wrong way to do anything. The wrong way is not to do it. So I have a couple of things I would love to share with you. One is, if you go to, the title of my book is Riding the Alligator. And the full title was Riding the Alligator, Strategies for a Career in Screenplay Writing and Not Getting Eaten. But the goal of my book was to allow you to find your own way of writing. Because I had so many books I'd read which were dogmatic and all about rules and all about plot forms. And all. I wanted people to learn writing is organic and biological. And if you have this urge to write something, the first draft I call the Lewis Clark, any freaking way to the coast is the right way. Just get it out of you. When you've got to the Clark, you've got to the ocean, you celebrate. You must celebrate each step, because if you don't celebrate, well, you're left with this all the work, and there's always going to be work. And then once you've got to that journey's end, you now have a piece of material that you can edit. And editing is so much easier. You start getting new insights you never dreamed you could have. My fear is always there's going to be nothing there. And my other fear is that they're going to catch me for being a fraud, and I shouldn't really be here. And yet, when you work at it, you start to see these things fill in. I also say, hang out with story midwives. Avoid the assholes, avoid the dogmatics, avoid the negative people. You'll have to deal with them at some point, but when you're creating, be around people that are spiritually and soulfully in sync with your goals and want to help you give birth to a child without telling you what sex it's supposed to be, and who you're able to trust, and they'll give you critiques. And sometimes a critique is so freaking good, you smile, you realize, oh my God, I have to do this, this, and this now, because it lights you up, because they're putting you in the right direction. A wrong critique is, oh, that'll never sell. And those are useless. So you want to avoid those people till you have to sell to them. And one of the things we learned was, in order to sell, we had to figure out what do they want. Because we're really not selling ourselves, what we're selling is their futures. And so I came up with this really simple thing. People don't buy from strangers. You have to research your buyers and authentically and caringly get to know them as people, or at least have an understanding of where you can find a rapport with them. Because then they start to trust you, and if they're going to work with you for a long period of time, they want to know that they're not going to be in danger from you being an ass. They're not going to get in trouble with their boss because you're being difficult. They want to know that you're actually somebody that they can collaborate with and will share ideas and will listen to them, because their dreams are part of what you're trying to get them to. So,
and that's a great point, because I'm just watching our time, but I let you go because that was great. What you just said, and it tied in. But everything you've done is to be of service.
I am all the films I try and make, I'm terribly proud. I started the film that became Harriet, the movie about Harriet Tubman. And I get great pride from that. I worked on a film which was called Last Full Measure, celebrating a medic who sacrificed his life to help other men in Vietnam, and to get him a Medal of Honor for it. I've written a film that I'm incredibly personally passionate about called Moll Flanders, which was a poem to my daughter. And it was to say that a woman who comes from an incredibly difficult background and has made mistakes in her life is still absolutely deserving of unimaginable love from that child. And these things are magical to me. That movie didn't make a lot of money, but I dedicated it to my mother. When I thought I'd made a movie that was good enough. And I also said to myself, if this movie doesn't work, I will not direct again. I shouldn't be such an ass to push myself forward. I would love to share a couple of things with you. One is, if you go to my website, Writing the Alligator, there's a free chapter you can download, which is designed to inspire you to write in your own style. Not me telling you what to do, because I think that's terrible. I don't believe there are rules, I believe there are personalities. And your personality should be expressed in your language and in the way you create. And the other thing that's available there is a book I wrote, called a mini book, called The Creative Person's Success Manual. And that became because my son, who was a writer, sent me a note on a Sunday night saying he was having the blues. And I thought, I have to write him a letter by tomorrow evening that turns him around. And I stopped that night having written that letter to him, but I couldn't stop writing. And I persuaded my publishers to give away this mini book. And because I wanted them to see themselves as part of a community of creators, and not just selling to them, but creating a commons. And so if you go to writingthealligator.com, you can access both of those elements. And the thing that's surprising about me that no one particularly knows is I'm trying to revolutionize photography. I love cameras, and I'm doing photographs with cameras that no one has ever seen before. I use a camera like a paintbrush, and I'm trying to push and be a creative force in photography that changes the way people look at imagery. And I'm doing that with nature photography because and you talk about passion, what get me up in the morning. I just love doing that. You can also see that at Pendention Photography. All my plugs. Sorry.
No, that's great. Give a thunderous round of applause. The biggest thing too is that you're always making a difference. You're changing lives. You're taking a look at it a different way. You're willing to go beyond, because going beyond the boundary is taking a risk, right?
Absolutely.
And you're still doing that in your life, and you're still moving forward. And we'll talk about the July show, because I'd love to have you on that so you can hear more of his message. So let's give Penn a thunderous round of applause. Thank you. Thanks for being here. This was great. That was, you wrapped your whole message into, and the audience was like, yeah, tell us more. Show me how you're doing it. How does that, and that was brilliantly done. So give her a round of applause again. All right, thank you. So, and a lot of people up here I only knew a couple days ago, and some were recommended because I basically put out to some people I know, who do you know who's of service? Who do you know who's just to give and to be here? and they kept showing up. That's the funniest thing, how it works. I mean, I had other people loaded up, but it's always put out the message, make a difference every day. So next up, and the last panel, and then I'll be just talking to you guys a couple minutes, and then we'll let you all play, go, and network. The really big piece here is at the Los Angeles Tribune, we have a move into the community with the Los Angeles Tribune, the Vietnamese Journal. We also have the Los Angeles Tribune Women's Journal and Spanish Journal. And it's really moving out into communities, moving out into a population. We have a lot more coming on. If you're that type of person who wants to be part of what we're doing, we can't get to everybody. So we need to know your stories. We need to know who you are. I told you how to connect with me. You can text me directly. That's fine. Again, and they asked, I got a text. Please do it again. 425-894-0023. Text me your name. Text me what you do for a business or what you're trying to create. And one thing about you nobody else knows, I'll get back to you about it. Don't be insulted if I don't text you back tonight. And when I text you back in a week, don't say, who is this? All right, so sort of remember, because then that will be the end of that. And we want to know the stories out there. We want to know also, we have a women's journal now that's worldwide. We also have, obviously, the San Diego Weekly has come on really big for us. We just got picked up in Europe, all over that one. Yeah, we did. Give that a thunderous round of applause. And we're a newspaper that's going to have live events. We have virtual events. We have events at Barnes & Noble because we're taking it out to the population. We're doing it differently by rounding some of the best crew on the planet who are great in their industries, but bringing them in to really our family and team and saying, how do we do this differently than everybody else? So this next panel coming up is part of the Women's Journal. A lot of them are part of the Women's Journal. They're also special people who have just come here tonight. And running this panel is our managing director of the Los Angeles Tribune Women's Journal. Give it up for Karen Hall.
Thank you, everybody. We are so grateful to be here and representing the Women's Journal. And we have Mrs. Montage, who is with us, who may be part of the Women's Journal soon. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Hold on one second. Try to talk in, or you might have to grab one of the other ones. That one's very directional.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, good. Well, I just wanted to say that we're so excited to be here, and we have some amazing women that you're going to hear from. We've already heard from so many amazing men and women, and so it's an honor to be here with you tonight and to hear so much inspiration. And we have more inspiration to come. And so all of these women are part of the Women's Journal, and this is Long Beach. Hopefully will be a part too. And so we are happy to have her with us as well. And so we'll go ahead and start with our end over here. Mandy, do you have a microphone? We will start with you. I do now. All right, and tell us your name. We'll keep our answer short to 30 seconds about. And tell us your name and what lights you up.
Oh, what lights me up? Hi, I am Dr. Mandy Rose, and what lights me up is helping people find freedom in their lives. I'm just I found myself in so many sticky situations in my life where I was like, who am I? How did I end up here? And I really am so passionate about helping other people find their way out of those places too, and finding a way to live their life the way they want to live their life. Do what they want to do, when they want to do it, and how they want to do it.
Oh, living our life. That's so important.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren Fields, and what lights me up is seeing other people's eyes light up through helping them connect with their purpose and their passion, because at one point I had lost my spark for life and was in a horse accident, had a traumatic brain injury, and doctors had very limiting beliefs about my future. And I set out to prove them wrong and to reignite my spark for life. And so if I can do it, you can too. And so helping other people do that is what gets me out of bed in the mornings.
Ooh, reigniting that spark. Thank you.
Well, my name is Barbie Ray, and like Lauren, I like to help people spark up their lives. I teach people how to find their inner dragon. And so that is something that everyone has. Everyone has an inner dragon. And I will help you find it and unleash it. Because when you unleash it, you're unstoppable.
I'm Natalia Price, and I teach self-love. I coach women who are stuck, trapped, numb, burnout, in transition, in any life transition. I support them in a way they have never been supported, so they can show up in a way they've always dreamed of. And to see the woman spark again, because feeling good is never going to be out of style.
That's true.
My name is Debbie Prediger, and I empower women by hearing their stories. There was a time that I didn't feel that I had a story or that I mattered to anyone. And so I really just want to meet each and every one, help you tell your story, help you put it into a course or a book or a workshop or a retreat, and get your story out into the world.
Well, I stand here today honored and so amazed by all of these people and all of you. My name is Terry Sparkin, and I am the eldest Mrs. Long Beach ever titled. And I say that because I changed the way I saw myself and stepped outside of the box at age 65 to do so. And my mission is to inspire many people to do that, not even at that age, but just at any time, to have their own true beauty.
Excellent. All right, so all of these women, are you just amazed at these women? And you know what touches my heart is their own personal stories. And in the Women's Journal, they are going to be featuring their stories and what they have overcome. And so I'm going to start with you. And so I want to hear about your core message as an author.
My core message is, if you can change the way you look at yourself and see yourself, you can change what you give to yourself and to the world. And my story started as a little girl and evolved till age 65 to making a decision to do that.
Wow, very good.
So my story as an author. My core message as an author is that love heals anything. And it really does. That is the core. As a retired nurse, I really needed to find the root cause of things. And I found out that the root help, savior, healing is love.
Well, my story is a former tech burnout entrepreneur who betrayed yourself, abandoned yourself, lost your woman somewhere on the way in this very masculine tech industry. So that's my journey. And the message would be, stop bullying yourself. Be yourself best friend. Love yourself first. Choose yourself first. Stop searching for your worth in the places you cannot find it. Stop hustling. Overachievers here. Recovering perfectionist, control freak. So yeah, stop hustling. Hope to prove your worth to this invisible audience of some people that you think can give you something that only you can give yourself.
Thank you.
Love yourself.
I think my core message would be adversity can actually be your best teacher. I fell down a flight of stairs. I had completely paralyzed. I was told no one would operate on me. And I ended up finding finally the person that operated on me. It took 2 surgeries to put me back together again. But that adversity was something that changed my life. Because I appreciate every moment, I appreciate every day, and sometimes you need to face death to recognize how precious every moment of life really is. So appreciate every minute.
Wow.
Similar to Barbie with message or pain to purpose. I think I spent a lot of time trying to prove to everyone that I was okay, instead of flipping it to how can I use what I've been through to help others? And I think when you can use your story and use it to empower you and to help others, because all of us are suffering from something we've been through and we're not able maybe to express it or know how to deal with it. But when you start sharing your story, you never know who you could be helping. So to stop hiding and to just own what you've been through, because you never know who you can help.
Thank you, that was really beautiful. I think my core message is obviously freedom, but I think it's really more of question everything in the world. Question why we do things, question why we wear this, why we do that, and to really come back to yourself and what you really truly want and what lights you up. And you don't have to just do something because that's what your job says or what you think you have to do. I really truly believe that if we follow what lights us up and we find people to help us team up with other people that they light up on something that we don't like to light up on, and we can make magic happen in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. Is that amazing? I mean, don't you all want to hear the rest of their stories? So if you have a book, tell us the name of your book. And if you don't have a book, tell us the name of your book that you're going to have.
I do not have a book yet.
And what is the one that's
Yes.
in your heart?
Well, my podcast and my TV show is called Divine Freedom. So it's all about coming back to freedom and the divine feminine.
Thank you. Well, and like Pin was saying, we all have a personality. We all have a story. Every single one of us have a story. And to be, I just was so touched by what you said, Pin, about being given permission and the person that fanned the ember of your story. And that just really touched me. And I am so grateful for all of you. There's someone in your life that has fanned the ember of your story that I want to fan the embers of your story. So thank you, Mandy. So thank you. I want to hear all of your stories.
My podcast is called the Fields Well Podcast. It's my last name, Fields, combined with wellness, because that's what helps me elevate my being. And so it's all about transformational life strategies for personal and professional growth. And I'm all about elevating the human experience. So my future book will be related to that. I haven't decided on the title yet, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yes.
Well, Karen and I are both in Voices of Women. And we just got an email this morning that it became an international bestseller. So,
yay.
Well, I host phenomenal retreats for spiritual wellness retreats for burnout women, burnout executives, business owners. So it's going to be part of the book too, not just my story, because my story, it's so many stories, and it's the title probably will be Phenomenal Life, because that's my brand, Phenomenal. My Instagram, be phenomenal. Phenomenal retreats, here we go. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of stories of phenomenal women in my book.
Awesome.
So I've had the honor of being in a few books, but the one that I'm bringing up today is this one, which is written with Mrs. Long Beach and a few others. But it's 100 self-portraits, 100 dreams, and it's of mothers who dared to express. And this was a collaborative book, which when I told you earlier that I really want to hear people's stories and why they do what they do, Shika Khanna from India was a photographer, and she was a student of mine, who we started getting out voices and different things, and she interviewed 100 women, got their stories. They took their self-portraits of what they see in their eyes. She taught them as a photographer how to see the light in themselves, and then we compiled it into a book. And Therese and her mother are in this book, so it's very, very beautiful.
Very special picture to show that my mom at 1 month short of 100 was published in a book with me.
Wow. Never too late.
It gives you chills. She promised her to have that book in her hands before she passed, and she did. But what a legacy I'm so proud to have, and I'm co-author of that. And also the start of it for a lot of us was When Love Speaks, which was a compilation book started with Maya Camarada, which is our, it's a coach that we were all privileged to be under. And we wrote our stories, and I didn't think I had one, as Debbie said. I thought I don't have one that matters. And it's evolved into a story, and I just know that everybody has a story that matters. And it's so inspiring to have all of these stories that just lift you up. So stories matter. Thank you.
Yes, stories matter. Thank you. And I just want to thank all of you for sharing your stories, whether you're a published author or whether you are sharing it on a podcast or as an entertainer or just in lifting other people up, because you make a difference in people's life. You may not know you make a difference, but you make a difference. Just like, when you received that review, from Alisha's mom, what a difference that made for you. And so sometimes we don't realize what a difference we're making, but we really do make an impact. And so I want to know who made an impact on you and why.
Well, I will have to say that my mom, growing up with a person that is so positive, no matter what happened to her, and everyone's stories has that resilience and strength and love inside of them, and she just inspired me to keep going as you get older and not give up, and that's my mission, and I thank her every day for that.
Excellent.
So many people. I know you guys can all relate to that, but I'm going to say my aunt. She was like a mother to me, and every day I'm grateful for her.
So many women. I just thought about my teacher, literature, that she sent my essay actually to the local competition, and I won. And then I didn't do any writing for like 30 years. So yeah, I just thought about her. Thank you. I'm gonna call her maybe, find you.
I think she wants you to write that book that has been inside you.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah.
I think so.
Well, like Debbie, there have been so many people, but I think one of them was my grandmother, and she, like me, was a Grim Reaper's favorite chew toy, and so she taught me resilience, and she taught me that facing death is a part of life, and she taught me appreciation and resilience.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to go with my dad on this one. My mom worked in the stock market, so she had to be in the office early in the morning, and so my dad would drive me to school. And this wasn't listen to music fun time, this was lecture teach Lauren time. We were going through like the 7 habits of highly effective people, the 4 agreements. Lauren, you can be anything you believe that you are, evolve or repeat. Go after what you want in life, and I would dread these because he would quiz me on what we were learning. But now I'm like, it's probably why part of the reason I'm sitting here today. So I'm really thankful for him.
Thank you.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to go with my son. Actually, like all of you, there's so many people, but I know the moment I gave birth to my son, my entire life changed. I was so small and so insecure, and I had natural childbirth at home, and when I got through, like when I was holding him, I was like, that was the most incredible thing I've ever done in my entire life, and I did that all by myself. I didn't need anything, and that it was a snowball effect for my life.
Awesome. So many of us, I'm sure, can relate to how our children have been a motivator in our lives. So thank you. You guys, I can't wait. Yes. I want to thank, as Michael has mentioned, I want to thank, Michael Silvers for making this possible, and Mary Glorfield for, being she calls herself the woman behind the curtain, and she just, does all this work to make this possible, and so we are so grateful. And one of the things I wanted to tell you about Mo was that he saw that there weren't enough women that were getting on the stages, and so he said, let's get stages for the women, and so the women are the predominant part of our podcasters group. And then he said, I want more stages. Let's do the Women's Journal. And so this is just wonderful to have all of these women. And if any of you know any women that would like to be a part of the Women's Journal, they can contact. We have Michael's phone number. They can text him. But thank you all. Thank you for being such a great audience, and it's just wonderful to be with you tonight. Thank you.
All right, give Karen and this panel a thunderous round of applause, everybody. Man, you guys did a phenomenal job. That's how we do it in the industry. Get off the stage. All right, good. Well done, well done. You know, I wanted to thank everybody for being here tonight. Did you learn one thing? If you did, raise your hand, please. Great, fantastic. It was about education, information, and we've also had the live stream going the whole time. We've got it, it's just loaded from around the world. We've had comments pouring in. We wanted to thank everybody for being here tonight. From, you know, myself and Mo Rock, the chairman, and Ava, the editor-in-chief, who's on there right now, and Alisha, and Karen, and Craig, and I could just go through, who else? Where's Mary? And Mary Glorfield, and everybody else who was here, and Steve and Lainey for putting on an amazing event. Give them all a round of applause, because they worked hard. So again, if you want to know more about what we do, connect with us. It's all about connection. Don't be shy, don't be bashful. You can't ask a wrong question, because I'll answer, and if I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer. It's called Google. So just have a great rest of the evening. Here's the one thing I'm going to ask. This is called an ask. The one thing that Barnes & Noble has tonight is they're very short-staffed. It happens, correct? So schmooze, network for about 15 minutes. Then the only thing we need to do, as long as you don't have a bad back and nothing wrong with you and whatever, we just need to put all the chairs away. So we're just going to stack chairs. If that's something you can help with, you're an audience. I believe in pulling the audience together. We all help together. And if you can't, great. If you can't, that's fine too. But I wanted to thank you for being here. There's still food back there, so please get some food and drinks. Say hi and say hello to somebody new that you don't know. And I wanted to thank you all from the team. Bye, everybody. Live stream. I'm going to talk live stream for a second. You guys are amazing. Give yourselves another round of applause. And people on the live stream, we want to thank you for being here. You spent your time. We had an amazing event. We're going to have 4 more events at Barnes & Noble's over the next year, so make sure you're part of it. We're going to have live events, and we have our 4 virtual events. So we want to make sure that you're tuned in either virtually, you're with us on a live stream, you're with us as we move forward to really learn and grow every day. So for myself and the whole team at the Los Angeles Tribune, we thank you so much for being on. Ava, I'm going to turn it back over to you, or Alisha. Who am I turning this over to? Ava, I'm turning this back over to you. Have a great time. Thank you, everybody.
Well, we are at the house of the Los Angeles Tribune here, home base, you know, just like really monitoring and running the productions for our live event at the Grove, Barnes & Noble, you know, and it's really a iconic location. If you've never been to the Grove in the Los Angeles, you know, it's the only Barnes & Noble, believe it or not, bookstore in the Los Angeles city, and it's so beautiful. So I believe we're still going to go around with Alisha, so that she can take us around and kind of give us some you know, view of the networking that's going on. I want to acknowledge our audience. Thank you so much for being with us. We've got G. Marana saying thank you to the Los Angeles Tribune for this wonderful podcast. We've got Vanessa. Vanessa is also someone that's been with us all night. Oja Castro, Cheryl Mitzel, thank you so much for being with us. You know, we've got a community from around the world, and so we've got VJ. Thank you for also being with us for this whole event. We've got Alice, we've got Alma, Miana. I want to acknowledge all of you who have been commenting. Mon, Anthony Era, Supermon, thank you so much for bringing yourself and your community. We've got, of course, Virtual Rex. Virtual Rex was with you today and also was friends with a lot of the people who we really tapped into. Renee Rice. Renee Rice is also a women's journal, Finding Your Voice journal that she also creates. And what a beautiful magazine. You got to find it. Finding Your Voice magazine. So powerful. From Renee Raj. I've brought in Sherry Mitchell before. So we're going over our audience comments. Thank you so much, you know, Mian Mariano, Manilyn Kiskino. I'm so glad I've got a background I can actually speak these last names, right? But some of our podcasters, some of our LA Tribune podcasters and Women's Journal could not make it in person, and they're also joining us live. I'm just looking at the name. We've got Chris Ashley right here. Chris Ashley is also part of our our podcast network and Women's Journal. So Nicole Cowley is also here. Nicole, thank you for tuning in and sharing the post. We wish that you could be there next time, like you and I. We're both not there, but someone's got to run it from the home base, right? So thank you so much for everybody for being with us. We've got Karen Hall. I don't know if Karen's hearing me, but I think this is where we're going to end. We've got a lot more comments coming in. Mo Rock, our CEO. Of course, we love in-person Rex. So thank you so much. Mo is also with us. You could tell who Mo Rock's favorite is based on all of the comments. But we are just grateful. Rex Sykes, love you all, from Renee Rice. So what we love about what we do in the Los Angeles Tribune is like really the community. It isn't just about you watching, but you're part of every event in our co-creation with you. All of your comments that you're bringing to us, some of the questions I couldn't ask normally if this was a virtual event. We would read your questions and answer it with our speakers, but because it was a live event and they could not really see our screen, a lot of the questions weren't asked. But I know our speakers are going to come back later on and really look through the chat and provide answers. So even though you're watching this from a recording or you're getting notifications, make sure that you come back and check on the broadcast, because you're actually going to see a lot more of the people that are interacting. One thing I'll tell you, a secret, one thing that that's a powerful secret behind the LA Tribune live events, as a matter of fact, is that we have a global community that we just had the LA Tribune, the LA Leadership Week, the first LA Leadership Week. And in that LA Leadership Week, we had last time I checked, about 3 weeks ago, or maybe 4 weeks ago now, we had 1.4 million views of LA Leadership Week. We had over 215 speakers, and some of the most renowned speakers in the personal development industry. I think they're going to take us around now. So I just wanted to, as I got into this tandem of telling you about LA Leadership Week, I wanted to share this with you a little bit and see if I can find a graphic. I guess we don't have the graphic anymore, but later I'll show you the video. Oh, we've got a graphic. So this was our LA Leadership Week. Very beginning of May, from May 1 to May 7. And so we've got an upcoming event, virtual event, global broadcast coming again in July, the last week of July 26, 27, 28, I believe. And it's going to be, podcasts and speakers and authors. So make sure that if you'd like to be in that event, email us at community@latribunonline.com. If you didn't get to write Michael Silvers' email, don't worry, you can email us community, and it's community because you all are part of it, at latribunonline.com. So let me bring to the full screen, our view of the red carpet. People are just taking the red carpet pictures right now from Barnes & Noble. This is the Grove, and we've got people who are just, wanting to be a part of the red carpet. Parisa Rose right there, a lot of the authors. So next time that, we're going to be, let me tell you, we have a partnership with Barnes & Noble in creating our events around America, around United States. So next time that we are in a Barnes & Noble around your city, stay tuned with the Los Angeles Tribune so that you can, be part of it. You can mingle, you can network. There'll be food, there'll be fun. It'll be an opportunity to feature your book if you're an author. And while I'm in this tangent, yes, oh my gosh, I wish I could hear what Dr. Chow is saying. They're muted. But if you are an author and you have written a book, we would love to be able to have you apply. As a matter of fact, if you believe in your book and you put your life's work in your book, apply for the Los Angeles Tribune bestseller, because that is definitely a program that we're growing in the Los Angeles Tribune right now. And as a matter of fact, as they're going around, let me give you a short commercial on what Mark Victor Hansen has shared about LA Leadership Week. And then from here, we're going to head to closing. But with that, let me first share with you this short video from the conversation of our CEO, Morak and Mark Victor Hansen, about the LA Tribune bestseller list. You know, we're at Barnes and Nobles, we're talking books. So let's talk about the LA Tribune bestseller.
For aspiring authors. I love it. Absolutely. That's a Los Angeles Tribune best-selling book. So for aspiring authors, Mark and Crystal, or for individuals that are looking to get their book recognized, what is the significance of being a Los Angeles Tribune best-selling author?
Well, there's only 2 lists left. It breaks my heart because the industry has been so good to me for 50 years. But USA Today is their book list, which I had 15 of the top 50 books at one time. And Maya Angelou, who you mentioned earlier, said, "Boy, you're hogging the list." I said, "No, we just sell more books than anybody alive." So they're gone. And then Wall Street Journal is gone. So you're number 2 after New York Times. And I predict, as I have to you personally, Mo, because you and I are dear, great friends, that you will become the number 1 book list in the world because you're playing literally a world game. And we're just so thankful and touched that we made it to the top of your list.
Thank you, Mark. Love you. I appreciate you. Ms. Crystal, please.
No, what an honor. I mean, Mark's right. I just say ditto to everything he just said, because sadly, all of these important lists are disappearing. And the lists are important because people are looking for that recommendation. They're looking for the books that people are really loving, that are really, you know, changing lives, impacting lives, or just even entertaining people, that are just really good writing. So I am so thankful for this list, Mo, because I think Mark is spot on. You guys you are becoming the most, well, New York Times and you, I mean, it's all gone away, Wall Street Journal, everything. So congratulations to you for really making that a priority, because reading literature, books are so important. Books change the world.
How powerful books change the world. And here we are at Barnes & Noble, really celebrating authors, podcasters. We're celebrating leaders, speakers. And, you know, let me reiterate that again. You know, if you have a book, if you've written a book, you believe in your book, you believe that it should be a Los Angeles Tribune bestseller, you are actually one of the pioneering ones that will be a Los Angeles Tribune bestselling author. We have a few that was presented here today, you know, and if you are on you have an idea of publishing a book or writing a book, know that we have the LA Tribune Publishing House that also supports authors in really being able to publish their book and own the rights and own the title for their book and all the proceeds and benefits of their book. So we support our authors with, you know, launching their books in Barnes and Noble's in-person events, you know, with red carpets and such. It's our way in the Los Angeles Tribune for supporting authors. We have our upcoming special thought leader edition newspaper that's going to be all about authors. It's about authors who change the world. So our front page has been made. We've got some of the biggest names all the way from as far back as the 17th century to where we are right now. And our tagline is from quill to quantum, really honoring the speakers and the authors who've changed the world. So we are so delighted that you have joined us. You know, I wanted to thank Alisha Magnus-Louis, our lead journalist and the director of our business solutions. Hi, Alisha. I wonder if she can see us. But it's a wonderful event. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for being with us. I wanted to, I spy Barry and Parisa from Rex Sykes. You know, we've got Rex agreeing with it's being prestigious to be honored as an LA Tribune best-selling author. So thank you so much for excellent contribution. Thank you so much, Rex. This is the virtual Rex. And so with that, I want to thank you for spending your evening with us at the Los Angeles Tribune. We were delighted that although we've got like glitches in our audio in the beginning, you know, we rolled from a red carpet interview and having to like move the microphone into a live event. Wasn't very, very smooth, but, you know, we got it figured out, you know, so thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have have an AI event coming up, the next 2 days. I believe it's 21 and 22. And so stay tuned here at the Los Angeles Tribune. If you're not following us, make sure you follow. Make sure that you also follow LA Leadership Facebook and Instagram, because we're going to make sure that you get those events. Now, Alisha, I think, is going to go back on camera. Alisha, we're ready for you if you are.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to Books, Podcasts, and Entertainment. As you can see, people are actively networking right now. Their phones are out. They're talking about what their experiences were like, and we're going to come speak with some people that were here that shared the stage. So, Dr. Roy and Jack, we are live on air right now. So, Jack, you came here, you were on the panel, you were talking about your book, Fine Dining, and your other book, Yin Yang, which is also a Los Angeles Tribune bestseller. How did it feel to be here today?
Wow, it felt so empowering. I'm so inspired by the diversity here today and the global recognition, meeting actresses, meeting actors, meeting thought leaders who are paving the way for our future and talking about so many important subjects like gender equality, racial equality, and food waste, which I'm a big advocate for, to stop food waste.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. And what about you, Dr.
I you mentioned, love the diversity and the different stories everyone's telling, but I loved the subliminal kind of through line that everyone had is their gratefulness and their link to spirituality. I think that humility that everyone had instilled kind of became that driving force to keep learning, to keep growing, to keep sharing their stories, and it was so humbling to hear that. So I really appreciate the spiritual connection with everyone.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing your perspectives. I mean, people got very real, very open. Talk about authenticity, talking about what the journey has been like, and in LA, but and beyond, right? Like there were people that have been injured, that have experienced almost life-threatening injuries, and what happened. And we have the host with the most, Michael Silvers here. Michael, come join us.
Take a picture there. Gotta take a picture.
Okay, we might have to get Michael after this.
2 seconds.
Michael will be right back. Let's come look at the women's of the Los Angeles Tribune Women's Journal that we have here.
It's a birthday as well. Right, that's how you want to get.
Quick photo moment here. And we have one of our hosts of the panels, Craig Bruce. We're here with our global audience. What was it like for you hosting the panel today? You have your podcast, but you were here today.
Yeah.
What was the feeling?
Powerful is the way I describe it. It's such an honor to be able to ask questions, to allow these entrepreneurs, these podcasters to express themselves. And somebody's
birthday. We'll be right back to you, Craig. It is Mandy Rose's birthday. She is a phenomenal woman who has a show on the podcast network that's all about living life on your own terms. So those of you that are in the comments, please wish Mandy Rose a very, very special, very, very happy birthday. But you're saying powerful.
Yeah, powerful. And I think just this is all one big family, and you just saw that, right? Celebrating a birthday, right? So I just it feels very much like a family.
Wow, thank you so much,
Yeah,
Craig.
all right.
I appreciate it. We have Mary Glorfield here. Would you like to say hi to our global audience, Mary?
Hi, everybody. It was so great to be here. What fun we had tonight. Oh, my gosh. So many amazing people and the stories. I'm taking so much home with me and so many action items that I'm going to do immediately.
Yes, so many action items, and I've already learned so much from you, Mary, and I continue to learn so much from you. So thank you. I took a lot of notes about things that you shared as well today. But so there were so many open, real, emotional stories about Journey. And look at the community here celebrating. So Mandy's birthday,
so much fun, the family, and you do an amazing job, and I'm so glad to meet you in person. You're even more beautiful in person than you are on the Zoom calls. So
thank you so much, Mary. I received that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thanks for everything you do.
Thank you. We do it, like Michael always says, one team, one family. We're all here to support each other. And we have Karen all here. Karen, would love for you to come join us. You hosted the women's panel with so many of the women that are going to be in the upcoming Los Angeles Tribune Women's Journal. What was tonight's experience all about and like for you?
Oh, I was so touched by the inspiration, by all the people that have a story inside them that needs to be shared. It's amazing. Everybody has a story.
Yes, everyone has a story, and that was highlighted tonight.
Yes, and to have the courage to be able to share that story and to be the person that encourages someone to tell their story. That came out to me too.
Wow, thank you so much, Karen, and great job moderating the panel, Resilience, Strength, and Self-Love. Those are the three key themes that I got out of that powerful, powerful conversation. Yeah.
Thanks, Alisha.
Thank you so much. We're going to continue to visit individuals. You spoke about opening up your eyes,
Yes.
your perspective, navigating towards real estate. You lived what might have been the dream for everyone else, and you realize maybe this is not the life for you, and you expanded into real estate. You talked about your experience with your family as well. What are three things that you want people to come out of this evening and this experience with tonight?
Thank you. Number one thing is you gotta understand that you are already powerful. You are the son and daughters of, for me, God. So with that, you are royalty. So go out there and just receive. Your job is to receive and do more good. Number one. Number two things is you gotta think about contribution and growth, not about certainty or significance. That's when you can have true fulfillment. And number three thing is you gotta learn how to leverage other people, relationship, leverage up so that way you can get to where you want fast. For us, we leverage other people property we don't even own, and then we sublease out to company. We leverage company to rent our homes to them, and then we leverage other connections like this, events like this, so that way we can get the word out and help more people get financial freedom. The word is your oyster, so go out there and just receive and get it.
Wow, powerful message. Thank you so much for sharing.
This is my lovely fiance, NFL cheerleader, Miss Bikini, and also was the director of 1,000 employees at one point. So.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm a nurse by trade. I have a master's in nursing. I stepped in as a COVID nurse before I resigned from my position as Senior Regional Director of Healthcare for 1,000 people. Came out to LA, got signed to be an actress, and here I am. So.
Wow, it just shows life is a journey, and you never know what is at the next turn.
I never expected a global pandemic to hit my one passion, healthcare, and I was caring for the seniors, and that was the most vulnerable population that struck, and I had to step in and work as a COVID nurse, but it really taught me some amazing lessons, and because of that, I was able to be like, life is short, I'm moving to LA, and I'm pursuing the dream that I've had since I was a little kid. Here I am, 2 years later.
Dream big and keep dreaming, and it doesn't stop. Yeah.
I love your energy, by the way. I love your energy.
So much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I am a fan as well. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And keep pursuing your dreams. Keep smiling. And you never know what's going to be around the next corner, but you won't know unless you continue along that journey.
That's right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Well, Alisha,
We're going to continue.
Can you hear me, Alisha? I just wanted to say they are our Vietnamese journal in LA Tribune. We've got a new Los Angeles Tribune Vietnamese Journal, and they are our partners for the Los Angeles Tribune Vietnamese Journal. That's something to look forward to. One of the things that's our CEO Morak really stands for is diversity and giving voices. Being a platform that gives voices to those that are not normally acknowledged, recognized, and celebrated. And so we are very, very proud to be to have a division for the Vietnamese Journal. So with that, I know that they're still going around. I'll just be we've got some beautiful, really powerful and inspiring comments from people who are just thanking Alisha, and acknowledging her interview skills. Let me see if I can get her to unmute her mic. No, I couldn't get her to unmute her mic. Rex, you can just be. We've got Rocio. I love it. Let me see if I could tell them to put their mics on. We are live, and this is like the technicalities of doing things live is we now have to make sure that their mic is turned on. So we've got some of the books. We've got a lot of authors in the Los Angeles Tribune, and they've got all of their books out here. Just beautiful. And so we've got the Think and Grow Rich out too. How beautiful. So we're just going to be silent here on the corner as you guys have a view of what's going on in Barnes & Noble's at the Grove while they still network and mingle around after the live event. Let me see.
We are back here at the Barnes & Nobles at the Grove. There's someone special I want to bring into an interview really quickly. Hello there, Angel. How are you? Hi, Rocio. We are live back again.
Hello, everyone.
With our global audience. Wow, what a powerful. I think that's actually been the theme, the word that I've used a few times this evening, but powerful. But what a powerful share the two of you had on stage today. How are you feeling right now? What is going through your mind coming out of this experience tonight?
Grateful, very grateful for you and for the experience that you give us to us. Is really, I can see how really what I want to tell everyone is go and live the dream. And if you want to see something in the world, be the change that you want to see in the world. Because right now I feel like I'm living the dream. And the dream is to share all these tools to everyone, and nothing that happened yesterday matters.
Look, I'm excited that obviously we wrote a book about female empowerment, but to be here today and see all those amazing women, my wife included, you, sitting there speaking of their story and their truth, it's just so inspiring, and I'm overwhelmed. It's really special, and we're thankful and grateful.
What is coming is amazing.
Yeah.
So let's keep it like this.
Yeah.
Really, the great energy.
Yeah.
Really, because is what they are doing is great. Keeping in touch, keeping coming, keeping seeing what you are creating. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Parisa Rose here, and I would love to bring Parisa Rose up to join this very, very powerful conversation with us, because Parisa is a voice and an advocate for women, right? Parisa didn't know that she was coming up here just now. She was, but she's an advocate for women. Parisa, you've done so much for the women in your community. You're so active on social media. You're such a voice. and you are so multifaceted. And I want to sit with that for a moment, because being multifaceted is such a beautiful gift to the world, because it means that you're not willing to allow yourself to be boxed in by anything or anyone. What are you feeling right now? What are you experiencing coming out of this experience tonight?
You know what? Being here and experiencing just even the bits and pieces of each person's story has really reminded me that I never have to be just one thing. And although I know that and I live that, it's also essential to have those reminders that it's okay to continue to explore what else and learn to be content and love what is, but also to lean into the what else. And like when I went up there, I said, you know, I do a lot of different things, because I do.
You do. You literally do.
And I'm like, I don't even want to focus on all the things. I want it to just be about what I bring to each place.
Yeah.
And really, especially, I'll be honest, your message when you were on the Tribune many months ago, and I got to talk with you, I'm like, your message just resonated with me so deeply, and just to hear you both speak here, I was like, this is amazing. This is such a beautiful reminder of what we get to do. You know, love what is, but also lean into what's next. So, yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
Give me 5.
For too long, we've been put in boxes. Right? Women, especially, men too. And let's get out of those boxes. The boxes don't exist except in our own minds. So powerful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very, very powerful. And you were talking about your sets and your reps. It's critical. Like, you know, where so many people today talked about the role of spirituality, talked about the role that self-love plays in their life, relationships, looking at life from a perspective of you don't know when your next moment is going to not be there. You don't know what is around the next corner, but be in this moment and then contribute and pour into others. Outside of your book, which is changing lives, I mean, you are going into schools, you are talking to parents, you are talking to children, you are going around the world. You were just in Mexico, and I think you said you're going to go to Madrid, Spain soon, and you're going to have a book event. When you think about contribution, like at this point where you're at right now, what does the word contribution mean to you?
Changing, change, innovating. Really, it's like what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a new system in our mind. How you say it?
To reprogram ourselves.
So instead of having a BlackBerry,
a new operating system,
everyone is gonna have an iPhone, and with that, imagine what you can do with a BlackBerry and now with an iPhone. It's like we have apps, we have this. Is our life became more richer and more free. So is what we are doing. It's incredible to share that with the world.
Wow. Yeah, it really is. Thank you so much. I felt that.
I know. I'm like, I'm gonna stick with that.
It's a completely new operating system. And I think I would stretch us here, but I think that operating system is grounded in healing. It's grounding in for people really going back to self, like people really navigating that journey back to me, like back to the self-healing through all of their life experiences, and then operating from that place. Personal perspective here. But
sometimes people listen to this and they think they're going to change to something they don't want to be. And I think it's important for everybody who's watching and listening. This is about helping you become the better version of yourself that you can be. This is not about changing you. It's about taking things off you so you don't weigh down so much. And all of a sudden, possibilities arise. And that's really, really exciting. And that's, you know, with a new operating system, there's always a fix. Just go for it. Keep fixing. Keep healing. That's important.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, because the possibilities are endless. So let's enjoy the ride.
Let's enjoy the ride and let's have fun in the process. We heard that earlier too. Let's have fun in the process. Well, thank you so much. We're going to continue moving through. This is, for those of you that are tuning in, we are at the Barnes & Nobles at the Grove. We are at the tail end of our books, podcast, and entertainment series. We're going to have many more events at Barnes & Nobles at the Grove, but today we've been highlighting individuals that are authors, that are podcasters, that work in entertainment, but individuals that have gotten very real and very open about their own unique life experiences and how they contribute to the work that they do right now. So we're going to continue moving forward and moving along. Until next time, Angel and Rocio, they are the co-authors of the book, The Orchid, The Secret Code to Modern Goddesses. So let's come and see if we can talk to Penn for a moment here.
Yeah, for sure.
Hello, Penn.
Hello.
How are you? Hello, Lainey. We are live with our global audience. Penn, you were up in front of the audience, and you were talking about your unique journey, your unique story, and believing in yourself.
Right.
And putting positivity out into the world and believing that you can be creative and put content out there that actually moves people and that stands for representation. What are 2 or 3 more principles that you would like our audience to kind of think about and understand on maybe another level?
Gosh, that's a difficult question to give you a quick answer to. I think the model that I look at is that we have these dreams, but we frequently don't actualize on them, and you need to surround yourself with people that want to give you support, and you need to look at people who've actually done things that you can relate to. In other words, I can look at Spielberg and I'm never going to have the career he had, but if there's another younger filmmaker who I was modeling off, I can learn because I'm not scared of what they are accomplishing, because I can actually see, my steps are inside that person. So I say, I call it the ship in the dock. Don't look at the ship in the dock and compare where you're at, but our lives are like ocean journeys, and we're not motorboats, we're sailing ships. And if you look at someone else's finished movie, which is the ship in the dock, it can depress you. Whereas if you look at your own and you see that you're sailing, and that's what you must concentrate on, because that alone is success. And one of the things my partner always used to say is that we never stop worrying. And so we get from one opportunity to the next, and then we stop. If you stop and celebrate, you reward yourself to keep going, and you regenerate the energy that you need to keep challenging yourself, because we chose a very difficult business. We're not, a publisher can publish a book for very little cost. I'm asking people to spend millions of dollars. And so the risk I'm taking when I'm writing a screenplay is that might never be found. So the other thing I say is you have to write it for yourself. If you write to try and please someone else, you're not writing from that part of you that's got the magic, that's got that authenticity, your zeitgeist, your DNA, your culture, your experiences that will flow through you, because I'm utterly convinced writing is a biological form, that humans share writing because it teaches the tribe. Yeah. Writing is healing. Yeah. We are shaman creating the new myths. And if you don't write to the truth of the things that your instincts are wanting to write and try and please other people with your writing, you won't get to those places that are in you. And that material is what attracts actors, it attracts audiences, because they can feel the authenticity. And they learn from the characters' journeys while they're being entertained.
Yeah, and that learning part, edutainment, right?
Yeah.
But on both sides, like you're sharing the perspective rather from someone that is writing a film. And what can you share for creatives that have something? I know you mentioned just now, like, write what you have within, but have something that was instilled in them, an idea or a thought that is so profound, and it paralyzes them. They don't know what to do. What can you share with them?
Well, first thing is that we try and look at the process as collect ideas. Don't try and write a screenplay, because that can seem overwhelming. If you just collect ideas, I use sticky notes. I have waterproof paper and a space pen in my shower, so that if I get an idea, I don't lose it. And if you set out to collect ideas and thoughts and themes rather than to write a screenplay, you don't overwhelm yourself. And then as this stuff collects, you can sort of sift through it and see what stays with you and see what starts to take on forms. And at a certain point, you may just suddenly find that you're possessed by it to start actually turning it into a screenplay. And then I am a consultant to the screenplay formatting company, the Final Draft people, but my first draft is notes on normal paper because I don't want to format it too early because I want to stay flexible. I don't want to overwhelm myself with analytical thinking while I'm still in that process of playfulness.
Yeah, that's powerful. And you were talking about a screenplay writing process, but that's also a profound message on learning and life. Like, you don't have to go all in, but learn in small doses.
I've seen the same thing applied to people who are thinking about creating programs. They're writing a program. If you try too hard, you freeze yourself. Whereas there's an Australian guy I quote in my book who says, write a piece of crap. Just write a piece of crap. Don't put all this pressure on. Just say to yourself, I'm going to let this come out of me. I don't care what it is as long as it gets out. Then the next thing is, once you've got it out, you can start to look at it and see what you've actually expressed and then make it better. And I found that programmers for computer programs do the same thing. Their first journey is just to get it out, and then they go back and fix it. And if we look at trying to write it perfectly the first time, we freeze up.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Ben.
Alisha. Nice chatting.
Yeah, nice chatting again. It's been a pleasure. We're going to continue moving along now, and we're going to get some closing remarks from Michael Silvers. To everyone that has tuned in, we thank you so much for joining us today or whenever you're watching the live stream.
Welcome.
Michael Silvers, the host with the most. The people came out today to celebrate authors, podcasters, individuals in entertainment, but ultimately they were celebrating their life experiences. How are you feeling right now, Michael?
You know, it's what a great honor to be here. What a great to be part of everything we're doing, and we're making a difference because you started off a show and people weren't, is it about media? Is it about internet? What's it about? And it became about how you live your life every day and the things that you do and the things you create and how you take a step forward every single day. And it morphed. It morphed into this, and it was great. And also, when you create a show, listen to what your people are talking about, because that sometimes becomes the order, because this wasn't the order of our show. And when I heard what someone was going on over here, I changed the order of the show because I knew the direction it would make. And it was brilliant. It wasn't about us. It was about everybody listening, all the changes you're all going to make, the steps you're going to take, and then the people who spent time with us today.
Yeah, phenomenal. And I know it wasn't about us, but I just have to take a moment to say you are a fantastic host, Michael. You kept the energy high all evening. There were so many individuals in the comments talking about how you had such amazing energy and the people that came together. And like you said, it didn't have to have a theme because it was about people. It was about people and their stories and how they expressed their stories with the rest of the world. So phenomenal time here. We are at the Barnes & Nobles at the Grove. We're just going to continue to move on here, but we're about to hand it back over to Ava to close us out. Thank you, all of you, for tuning in, and until next time, we will see you again really, really soon.
Alisha, thank you so much, and I want to thank Parisa Rose, who's also behind the camera, supporting. We are so delighted that you have stayed with us through this time. We've got a lot of people still live with us. On behalf of our CEO, Mo Rock, the inspiration for how we are bringing you news that's inspiring, uplifting, and educating. We want to thank you. And I'd like to end this, as always, as many of our events that we've ended, with the TEDx talk from our CEO Mo Rock, because that is the mission, the vision, and the reason for what we do, why we do what we do in the Los Angeles Tribune. Everything from live events, everything from from digital virtual events to live events to different activities that we're doing. It's all because of our commitment to changing the status quo and redefining media. And with that, in closing, let me first bring you a word from the TEDx talk of our CEO, Mo Rock.
Imagine waking up in the morning, grabbing your morning coffee, and opening up your daily newspaper to nothing but headlines that inspire and uplift you. Headlines like the Apollo 11 moon landing and how it inspired people in the 60s, or headlines like the Berlin Wall has collapsed, or even more recently, headlines like the miracle on the Hudson. What would that do to your day when you started off with just positive news? My name is Mo Rock. I'm the CEO of a national newspaper brand, and today, together, we are reimagining journalism. You see, studies reveal that there is a stark contrast between positive news and negative news. In fact, for every piece of news that is solutions-based, that can uplift and inspire you, there are at least 17 that don't. That's 17 to 1. So today, we are actually faced with an epidemic of negative news. We've all heard the phrase, if it bleeds, it leads. But why does this have to be the centerpiece of a lot of news production, journalism, and content creation of the world today? There are a lot of incredible journalists that are solutions orientated, and I give a lot of credit to them for doing a great job. And here's the truth that you may not realize, is that everyone in this room is impacting our news. You see, every single time you like a post, every single time you leave a comment on a news article, and every single time you share something, you're not just liking, commenting, and resharing. You're actually casting a vote. You're not only casting a vote for the kind of news you want to consume, but believe it or not, you're casting a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. You see, I believe that news has the power to not just inform you, but it has the power to mold you. Our world views are largely shaped based on the news and content that we consume. And so I want to encourage folks to remember that the next time that they like, comment, and share. Our organization has one question that it always has to ask before we share anything, print anything, or publish anything. Our editorial team asks this one very simple question. Does the following piece of news empower our audience, or does it disempower our audience? What would the world look like if every content creator, every journalist, every time someone posted a news article, they asked that question? Does the following piece of content empower our audience or disempower our audience? And I want to encourage everyone to participate in this process and help us bridge that gap between 17 negative news articles for every one positive. And let's come together and ultimately make this world a better place. Thank you.